What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if Naruto x Fluttershy? If you enjoy then please like, share and do comments. And also check the description to original creator of this beautiful creation. A gigantic orange fox with 9 tails and other gigantic beast inside an empty space trying to wake up the boy who's laying on the floor, but with no avail. The giant fox got annoyed not knowing how to wake up the sleeping boy, so he shouted with a monstrous roar. "Naruto, wake up!" The boy sprung up to action with a kunai on his mouth ready to combat any treats. He blinked, but there were no enemies attacking him. After calming down he looked at his surrounding with the sun shining on him. The boy got confused how the hell he's in a freaking forest. Last thing he remembers was fighting a psycho maniac who want to put everyone in endless illusion. Then he asked his giant fox friend inside his mind. "Hey, Kurama, where are we? What happened to Kaguya? And where are the others?" The boy asked with confusing expression. "I don't know, I don't feel any nearby chakra anywhere," Kurama said. "Are others still there?" Naruto asked with a worried expression. "Yeah, but they're still out cold," Kurama looking at the other beasts inside Naruto's mind. "We should find a way out of here and look for any people around." But before he could move he felt something was wrong. Like he had no fingers. He tried to move one but got no response. Then he lifted his hand to look if fingers were broken. But in front of his face were not hands but hooves. In a few seconds Naruto freaks out. "Ah, what happened to my hands?" That's not only thing he noticed, his whole body was transformed into a small horse or a pony. His coat is a dark orange, his mane sun-kissed spiky blonde with 2 gravity-defining horn-like mane, still have cerulean blue eyes. Still have 3 whiskers mark each cheeks. And his blonde fox-like tail with white tip at the end. Then his final feature is a mark that's located at his butt is symbol of Uzumaki clan and circling around it is 9 black magatama. When you look at it closely, it almost looks like the sun. Then after examining his new form Naruto freaks out again. "Ah, what happened to me?" Other tailed beasts got startled and woken up from Naruto's shouting. Kurama sighs. It seems they're not in their world anymore. Kurama tried to calm Naruto down. Naruto calmed down but Naruto didn't listen. Kurama got ticked, getting annoyed from Naruto's inability to calm down. Kurama shouting at him to calm down. "I said calm down, you goddamn moron." Naruto stopped shouting and starts to calm down, taking a deep breath before talking to the giant orange fox. "Okay Kurama, I am calm." "Okay, what happened to me?" the orange pony asked the giant fox. "You turned into a pony." Kurama smug at the shinobi turned pony in amusing tone. "Shut up, you bastard. I know I turned into a pony, the question is how?" Naruto replied annoyed. "Well, I guess when you used that Kenjutsu seal on Kaguya, it teleported us into a new world where equines ruled this world. Your body was so badly damaged from the just you used, so your body has to make a stable form. So it turned you into something that is a dominant species in this world. Well, it seems there's no way for us to go home. We're stuck here." Kurama responds with a sadly tone. He knows how much the blonde idiot wants to be a Hokage. Now, without a way to go home, so they're stuck here. Naruto frowns at the response and starting to remember what happened to the 4th Shinobi War. He thought he knew why they're stuck here. He and Sasuke had to use Kenjutsu Fuinjutsu to seal Kaguya Otsutsuki, the mother of the Sage of the 6 Paths, from continuing the infinite Tsukuyomi, but he had to sacrifice everything for the sake of the ninja world. He sacrificed his dream to become a Hokage. He doesn't know what happened to Sasuke. He guessed he might have survived from the sealing. The jutsu come only have one drawback, to give up one life. But somehow instead of sending him to the great beyond, it teleported him to a whole new world. He's starting getting flashbacks, starting from day he started schooling at the Ninja Academy to Team 7 in their mission to Chunin exam and traveled with Ero Sanin. Everything from his 3 years training trip to 4th Shinobi Wars. He shredded tears remembering all of his friends and loved ones. He will miss them dearly. Kurama tried to comfort Naruto and others followed because they knew how the blonde really wants to be with his friends and become a Hokage. Kurama tries to tell Naruto who he is. The boy who never gives up, never backs down on his words and never surrender attitude. The boy who changed him for the better. He believes in Naruto to move on from this. "Naruto, listen, I knew you wanted to become a Hokage and be with your friends, but right now there's no way for us to go home. That jutsu almost took all our chakra, we're even lucky we even survived. Even if we used jutsu again, there's no way for sure we could teleport back to our own world. There's a ton of different worlds out there. It will take forever for us to reach them. Kurama sadly explained. He know Naruto won't sacrifice his friends for his own selfish needs. Then Kurama's sad expression changed into a caring smile. But doesn't mean you can't start anew, Naruto. You can find new dreams. You can make new friends in this new world. You can move past this. Yeah, Naruto, where's the boy? No. I mean, where's the shinobi I knew who never gives up even in the brink of death? That befriended every Biju, that Naruto I've grown to respect. The gigantic four-tails red ape named Son Goku said, smile with an encouraging tone. Hell yeah, you're Uzumaki fucking Naruto, who had the power to do almost the impossible, said the insane one-tail raccoon dog named Shukaku with a massive grin. Naruto-kun, you're not alone in this. You have us, we're friends, aren't we? Matabi the two-tailed demon cat said with lovely smile. Naruto nodded. Naruto-kun, we will never leave you. We're here for you no matter what. Maybe we can find a mate for you here, or mates, ha ha ha. Matabi licked her lips seductively. Naruto, if you need any help you can ask us, we're here for you. That's what friends are for, isn't it? Said the eight-tails octopus named Gyuki. Naruto eyes softened, looks at the tailed beast with a smile at their faces. Remembering all the words he said and the words people passed down to him. Flashback. Naruto. And my future dream is to be the greatest Hokage. Then the whole village will stop disrespecting me and start treating me like I'm somebody. Somebody important. Kakashi. In the ninja world, those who break the rules are trash, that's true, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash. Naruto. Don't underestimate me. I don't quit and I don't run. You can act tough all you want. You're not gonna scare me off. No way. I don't care if I do get stuck as a genin for the rest of my life. I'll still be Hokage someday. Naruto. I'm not gonna run away, I never go back on my word. That's my ninja way. Naruto. Just give up on trying to make me give up. Jiraiya. Even I can tell that hatred is spreading. I wanted to do something about it, but I don't know what, but I believe that someday the day will come when people truly understand one another. If I can't find the answer, it will be up to you to do it. Jiraiya. I think we all have to acknowledge you. Gamatatsu, Gamakichi, Sakura, Tsunade, and I, we all admit you've worked really hard. But I wonder what's pushing you forward. Jiraiya. Never go back on your word, and never give up. That's your ninja way, and as your mentor, I have no business whining. Because, the student's ninja way should be the master's too. Isn't that so, Naruto? Nagato. You are an odd kid. You remind me of myself when I was young. I couldn't believe in what Jiraiya believed in, nor believe in myself, but you chose a different path. In you I can see another future. I will believe in you. Naruto. Then I will break that curse. If there's such thing as peace, I will find it. I won't give up. Nagato. Dying like trash, never-ending hatred, pain that never heals, that is war. Naruto, this is what you must face. The book, and you. It's like, someone set this all up. Or, maybe, this is the hand of the real god? My role is over now. Naruto, you can really. Nagato. Naruto, I'll be returning to where our master is, so I can see your story. If you ask me, you're the third part that concludes the series. The first part was Jiraiya. He was flawless. But, the second part was me, an almost complete failure. I couldn't even get our master to acknowledge me. Ending the series is the third part. The final work will settle it all. Become such a masterpiece that that failure will be like it was cancelled altogether. Naruto. Kushina. There are some important words I want to tell, only to the men who compliment my hair. Naruto, will you hear them? I love you, Kushina. Thank you for letting me be your mother, and for letting Minato be your father. Thank you for being our son. Thank you, Minato. You will find the answer. I believe in you. Naruto smiled at them for giving him his nindo back. He will never give up. Even if he's stuck here in this new world, he has to move forward to find happiness that he never had. He's Uzumaki fucking Naruto. Thanks you guys. I really need that. Thank you for believing in me, Naruto said with a smile. Okay, how to walk in this form. Let's see if I can stand up. Naruto try lift his body but his legs got wobbling and fall down with a thud. Naruto groaned at his misery. A tailed beast approached Naruto. It was the five-tails dolphin horse named Kakuo. "Naruto, I think I can help with your new body," said Kakuo, looking at Naruto's misfortune. "We have similar body, I can teach you how to use your new body and how to perform jutsu." Naruto looks at Kakuo with hope in his eyes. "You can?" Kakuo nodded. "So what are you waiting for, start teaching me." Kakuo chucking at the shinobi turned pony antic. "Okay Naruto, take it slowly, try to stable your leg." Naruto did what he is asked. Starting to lift his body, tries to stable his legs for he will not fall down. Then now Naruto is standing in 4 legs. Naruto smile at his achievement. "Good, now here's hard part, walking. Try to walk 1 step at time, front leg then back leg, front leg and etc." Naruto starts his right front leg, then left back leg and front left leg, then he repeats the process. Before long Naruto started walking like he was walking in years. Naruto grins and his walk is getting faster and faster. Not too long it turns into a full-blown run. Naruto keeps laughing that he could feel the wind blowing at his mane, he feels free. Naruto saw a cliff. The bijus shouted at him to stop, but he wasn't starting picking up the speed. He put chakra on his hooves. When he reached the cliff he starts running down to the bottom of the cliff. Naruto laughed like a maniac, but his happy moment was short-lived. Suddenly his chakra stopped flowing under his hooves. Naruto start free falling to the ground. Luckily Naruto fell on a bush that broke his fall. Naruto groaned, asked what happened. "Hey, what happened? Why did my chakra stop?" Naruto asked the tailed beasts with clueless expression. "I was afraid of this may happen." Kurama sighs at the newly reformed shinobi. "It seems your new body put your chakra out of whack. When you turned into a pony your chakra coil changed and your chakra control turned back when you're still a kid. We need to start over again with your training kit." Naruto frowned at that. He has to start all over again, all his hard work gone. But before continuing his thought he hears a cry for help coming from out of the distance. Kurama asked Naruto about the cry. "Kid, did you hear that?" Naruto reply, "Yeah, I can hear someone needs help bad." Naruto runs towards to the source. When he reaches to where the yelp is coming from, he saw a small filly with yellowish coat, red mane and wearing a magenta-colored ribbon on her mane. Crowing in fear, she's cornered by 3 wolves-like creatures that was made out of wood and are ready to pounce onto the poor defenseless filly. Naruto rushes towards to the little filly before the beasts pounce on her. The little filly closed her eyes waiting for her impending doom, but her doom didn't come. She felt a warm hoof around. She opened her eyes. She saw a large stallion, not as big as her brother but it was close. "Careful kid, those are no normal wolves," Kurama said caution. "Hey, are you okay?" Naruto asked the little filly, tears falling down from her eyes, who just simply nodded. She was really scared. After he saw the little filly was okay, he looks towards at the wolf-like creatures. He thinks he will call them wood wolves. Okay, that was lame even for him. How about timber wolf? Yeah, that's good name. He was hoping no one named them yet. If he only knew. Go hide behind the tree over there, I'll finish this in a flash. The filly got hesitant a bit but listens from the large pony. She ran behind the tree and watched to see Naruto kick some major butt at the timber wolf. "We can do this the hard way? Or easy way?" Naruto gives them a warning before they get hurt. It seems Naruto knows their living creature like they were like real animals because he has a strong connection with nature. Naruto always hates killing, he doesn't want to hurt them so badly. But the timber wolves growled and rushes towards him. So the hard way it is. Naruto spring upward and punch one of the timber wolves at the face. The wolf broke into twigs, then the second wolf jumps behind him, but Naruto was ready for that. Naruto backflip and lands behind the wolf, gives it a hard kick at the back. Just like the first one, it broke into pieces of twigs. "Hell yeah, those punks are nothing." Shukaku is shouting excitedly but got a whack behind the head by Matabi. "Don't go get careless Naruto-kun, they may be easy to defeat but they still pack a punch. Don't let your guard down." Naruto nodded, understanding Matabi's worry, but he got this. The little filly watches in awe, thinking how can a pony fight like that? He was fast like a certain Pegasus she knew and strong enough it shattered a timber wolf. Only her sister can do that. The last wolf was hesitating to attack Naruto. Before Naruto gives one last wolf the haymaker, he hears something behind him, looks at the 2 defeated wolves who were merged together, then last wolf joins in and they merge into one larger timber wolf, not as big as a biju but the size was impressive. The large timber wolf roars at Naruto and swings its mighty paw downward to Naruto. But Naruto saw it coming. He dodged out of the way. That gives a large dust cloud covering everything that the filly couldn't see what's going on. He was about to perform a jutsu but forgot that he doesn't know how to perform without hands. Naruto curses under his breath his inability to perform a jutsu. But there's two jutsus that doesn't need hand seals. One of his favorites jutsu is Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Naruto summoned two shadow clones. He has full mastering of the art of shadow clone. He didn't need hand seal. He commands one of his clones to distract the timber wolf, then he lift his right hoof while another clone gathering the chakra necessary for the jutsu. But it will take some time to finish the jutsu because he still can't control his chakra with his current body. Naruto's clone dodge left and right from every attack Timberwolf can make. Before long a blue orb is starting to form at the right hoof of the real Naruto. After completing the jutsu, Naruto dispels the two clones and turns into a poof of smoke. Then he charges at the large Timberwolf, slams the blue orb at its side and yell, Rasengan. Naruto lower his attack to 5% power so he won't hurt it too badly. After dust clears, the Timberwolf is knockout cold. Naruto went towards the filly and said, "You can come out now, little one. You're not hurt, aren't you?" The little filly shook her head, a sign that she's okay. Naruto almost forgot to ask the little filly's name. "What is your name?" "Apple Bloom, mister." The filly answers with a small smile and asks his name. "What yours?" Naruto responds with a wide grin he can muster. Maybe he would try the introduction form of his late sensei. "I am the son of the fastest stallion and wildest mare to walk land of fire. Student of the Thunder Cyclops, apprentice to the Toad Sage of Mount Myobuko, Jinchuriki of all nine-tailed beast, and descendant of the Sage of the Sixth Path. I am valiant, Uzumaki Naruto." Naruto cried out with an exaggerated pose. As for the bijus, they cast genjutsu at the background. Cherry blossoms floated everywhere. Standing behind Naruto were all nine-tailed beasts with their own posing. All the bijus sweat drops why they cast this genjutsu. Kurama got ticked and wants to bonk the boy's head for his ridiculous intro. Apple Bloom doesn't know what to think about this pony. Uzumaki Naruto is a strange name in this part. Don't know where's Land of Fire at. Student of a Cyclops? A sage? What's a Jinchuriki? And what are those monsters behind him? But she has to admit it was funny to see a pony introduce himself like that. Few seconds later, Apple Bloom falls over, landed on her back laughing loudly, seeing a pony sillier than a certain pink mare. Doesn't care if there were monsters behind him, it was just the most hilarious thing she ever saw. "Wow, you're a very silly pony, Mr. Uzumaki." Apple Bloom wipes her tears from her eyes. Naruto scratches behind his head before smiling at Philly. Naruto loves making children laugh. From his silliness he always wanted siblings. "Why thanks, Apple Bloom, but please don't call me mister. Make me feel old, call me Naruto," Naruto said to the cute little filly. "Do you know where this place is?" "Everfree Forest." "No, what country we are at?" "You never been in Equestria, Naruto?" "No, I'm from somewhere east outside of Equestria." "Okay, my next question, what are you doing here in the middle of the forest?" Naruto asked the little adventurer. "Well, I was trying to get my cutie mark for navigating unknown land. Maybe I can get a compass cutie mark or something." Apple Bloom looks away from Naruto's face. She really wants to get a cutie mark. Almost all her schoolmates have one. "What's a cutie mark?" Naruto asked with a questionable expression. Apple Bloom gasped. "How, a pony don't know what a cutie mark is? What you talking about?" "Everybody knows what cutie mark is." Naruto scratched back of his head before he chucking, "Well, maybe you can enlighten me what this cutie mark is." Apple Bloom is happy to explain what a cutie mark is. "Okay, sure. Cutie mark is a marker for ponies who finds their true talent. Usually you get cutie mark like age 6 to 8. Apple Bloom frowns with sad expression. "But I'm still finding mine. I tried everything that I can think of but I still haven't got my cutie mark. I am 10 for pony's sake, why I still haven't got my cutie mark yet." Apple Bloom throws her hooves up high, continuing her mini rant about why she still hasn't got her cutie mark. "Hey, now don't think like that. I believe you can get your mark, cutie," Naruto said in encouraging tone. Apple Bloom calms down from her rant earlier, looks up at him. "You really think so?" Apple Bloom asked the blonde pony. "Think so? I know so, believe it," Naruto said in a nice guy pose in pony style with fox-like grin. Apple Bloom's glad that some pony believes in her like her family would. After remembering about her family she panics. Her family has been worried sick about her. Naruto looks at her. Is something bothering her? Naruto calls her. "Hey, you okay? Come on, I'll take you home." Applebloom snaps from her thought looking at the dark orange pony. Yeah, I know the way, Ma, house just right ahead. Naruto nodded and follows suit to the yellow filly. Meanwhile, during battling the giant timber wolf, 5 pony mares were searching for the little yellow filly, the one with the cowboy hat, orange coat, blonde mane and tail, emerald green eyes and her cutie mark, a 3 red apple. I am telling you guys, I heard some ruckus somewhere in the forest, spoke with southern accent. Hope Applebloom didn't get in the mess. The southern cowgirl got concerned about her little sister's safety. Applejack dear, I'm sure Applebloom is fine, no need to worry dear, said the white unicorn mare, with indigo mane and tail, azure eyes and her cutie mark were 3 diamonds, spoke in elegant tone to the cow mare. Rarity, this is Ma's sister we're talking about, Applejack said to the white unicorn. Rarity thinks for a moment, let out a sigh. Good point, we should find her fast before anything happens to her. Don't worry you guys, as long as you got the fastest flyer of all Equestria, said the cyan Pegasus, let out tone. She got rainbow-like mane, her eyes is cerise and her cutie mark a cloud with a slightly curved 3-colored lightning bolt. We'll find the kid in 10 seconds flat. I hope the little dear is okay? Asked the concerned yellow timid Pegasus. She has pinkish mane and tail. Her eyes are cyan and her cutie are 3 pink butterfly. Don't worry Fluttershy, maybe there's a party in here, that's why there were some noises around, because they were partying all night, said the hyper-energetic mare. Her coat is pink, with a lighter shade of pink for her mane and tail, and her cutie mark is 3 balloons with curved strings. I need to bring out my party cannon. The pink mare brings out a cannon out of nowhere. Ah no Pinky, I think that's not necessary, there's no party, Fluttershy said with a timid tone. Pinkie Pie nodded with a smile, grabs her cannon, puts it in her mane, and it vanished like how it appeared in first the place. Suddenly they hear a sound in front of them. Inside the bush comes out Applebloom, who saw her sister and rushed toward her. Oh Applejack, I'm glad I found ya, I was scared. Applejack hugs her sister in sisterly emerge. Applejack looks at her sister, who were crying, buried on her chest. It's okay little one, your big sister is here. After their sister moment they separate from their hug. Pinkie offers a cupcake that she pulled out somewhere to make them feel better, but denies the offer, so she eats it herself. Applejack asks her little sister what happened. Well, I was trying to getting my cutie mark. Looks away from her slight angry face. I was attacked by timber wolves. This information alerted all the mares around her. What? Oh darling, you okay? What happened to the timber wolves? Rarity asks in worried voice. Fluttershy looks at Applebloom if she's alright. Applejack asks the yellow mare to check her sister, she knows the mare is natural healer. Fluttershy nodded, checking Applebloom for any injuries, while Rainbow Dash asked the filly if any of those timber wolves chasing her. Okay kid, are they coming? Cyan mare moves into fighting stance. The yellow filly replied, no, I was rescued. Her big sister asked the little sis, by who? The filly excitedly told them what happened to her. After the story each mare have different reactions. Applejack's glad her sister is safe. If she finds the pony who saved her, she will invite her sister's savior for hometown Apple family cooking. Rarity thinks the savior of the little filly were like a knight in shining armor. She has dreamt of the day about a stallion saving her from an evil warlord. Fluttershy sigh in relief that the pony who saved Applebloom didn't hurt the timberwolf too badly. Rainbow got a bit jealous at the pony stealing her spotlight, but she let it slide, for Pinkie's will. Thinking a new pony has come to town, getting excited, she must prepare a welcome party for the new pony. Before any of the mare ask some more questions to the filly, they can hear noises behind them. They looked at the bush behind them. They were thinking a timber wolf might come out. But an orange stallion emerged from the bush looking at his surroundings. After looking around his face, the group of mares in front of him were all in different shades of red. Are they sick or something? Naruto thought, clueless. But all bijus inside of his mind were just chuckling at how dense their container is. Matabi thought about how to teach the boy how notice females' feelings. When Applebloom saw her savior, she called him and rushes towards him, Naruto. Each of the girls looks at Naruto top to bottom, thinking different thoughts about the blonde hero. Applejack thought, so this is the hunk. I mean the guy who saved Ma's sister. Looks at that leg muscle. I could use a stallion like him around the farm and around me with those strong hooves of his. Applejack blushes heavily about her last thought. Rarity thought, well hello handsome, so fairy tales do come true? I think I found my Prince Charming. Look at those eyes, it's like I'm diving in large body of water. His mane is a little spiky for my taste, but looks at his tail is smashing. I can rub those thing around me all day. Rarity lick her lip while blushing, thinking how handsome this new stallion is, and his tail brings her a new idea for a new fashion line. Fluttershy thought, wow, he's so why. He's not as big Macintosh, but just right how big his thing under all those fur. Oh dear, bad Fluttershy. Bad thought. Bad thought. Fluttershy got a small nosebleed from her nose. The blood counts as one of the different shades of red. Haha. She quickly wipes it before anyone notice it. Thinking dirty thoughts about the stallion might do to her. Yes, people, the Fluttershy we knew and love is a secret pervert. Well, in my world anyway, so deal with it. Wahahaha. Rainbow Dash thought, he is cute. Not many stallions caught my attention. I can tell he's somewhat an athlete, looks at those ripping muscles, but his body is built for speed. She blushes a slight of pink, first thought about calling him cute but turns into a competitive look. She wants to race with this new pony. For Pinky, well, she just stares cause everyone else is doing it. For shade of red, she got that from eating red velvet cupcake earlier. Come on people, Pinky does. For Naruto, he has a different thought about all of the 5 mares. The mare with the hat is kind and beautiful. Those emerald-like eyes of her reminds me of Glassfield. Naruto describes Applejack in his own opinion. Next he looks at the white unicorn mare. She has an aura of beauty and grace like Koyuki, maybe she is some kind of royalty. Next Naruto looks at the rainbow mane pony. I can tell this one is like me, but not much. I feel like she wants something from me. Naruto looks at the next pony with the yellow coat. She reminds me of Hinata, I hope she won't faint on me. Then Naruto looks at the pink pony next to her. I don't know about this one. I feel like if I get near her I will lose my sanity. After all, the mares had their fantasies with Naruto, well except for Pinkie Pie. They shook their head to regain their composure. Applejack approached the ragging handsome stallion. She greets him with a smile. Howdy partner, name's Applejack, thanks for saving ma little sister from the timber wolf. Applejack thanks the stallion for saving one of her kin while roughing her sister's mane. Naruto scratches the back of his head nervously, looking at Applejack, thinking he didn't do anything much. No problem, anyone can do that, I just do what's right, that's all. Hee. Naruto nervously laughed from embarrassment. You mean any pony can do it? But darling, no one is brave enough to save a filly from 3 timber wolves, said the white unicorn. Well, except me, said the rainbow mare. Hi, name is Rainbow Dash, by the way, I'm fastest flyer in all equestrian, don't you forget it, saying it proudly, her self-proclaimed title. Applejack rolled her eyes from her friend's cockiness. Rarity gasped, almost forgot to introduce herself to the handsome stallion, how unladylike. Oh dear, I forgot to introduce myself. Well, my name is Rarity, my dear stallion, gives him an elegant greeting. My name is Fluttershy. Fluttershy says her name, but it was hard to hear from her timid voice. Come again, I can't hear you, can you speak louder? Fluttershy. What? Little louder please? Fluttershy. Fluttershy is very cute name, from a very cute pony. Naruto said it with a beautiful smile. Fluttershy blushed heavily from that compliment. Oh ho 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 ho, me next, me next, me next. Pinky excitedly waves her front legs rapidly left and right. Naruto chucking from the mare's silliness. Sure, what's your name? Hiya, me name is Pinkie Pie. What is your name? Where you from? Do you like to party? Do you like cake? You wanna be my friend? When do you plan your party? Pinky was stopped when 3 other girls pulled her away. Naruto steps back and blinked from the mare. He couldn't believe that a pony said a sentence in one breath. Her energetic behavior reminded him of Guy and Lee. If he'll see her go into flames of youth on him, he will really go insane. Sorry about that. She gets excited whenever she meets some pony new, Applejack apologized. Nah, it's alright, replied Naruto with a foxy grin. To answer your questions, Pinkie Pie, name's Naruto, Uzumaki Naruto. I came from far east outside of Equestria. I'm not sure I like parties, never been into one. Yes, I do enjoy cake. I would love to be your friend, but don't go flame of youth on me, okay? For last one, I don't know? Maybe after we get out of here first. He's right. Let's get out of here before anything happens to us, Applejack quickly said to the group. The group agreed to move out. After a few minutes of walking, they're almost out of the forest. The mares were at front, behind them were Naruto and Applebloom, who's sticking closely to Naruto. So where are we going? Naruto asked curiously. Our hometown, Ponyville, replied Applebloom. You going to love Ponyville. There's a lot of nice ponies there, beautiful scenery, and you gotta love our apple acre. Ponyville, huh? Well, seems it's going to get more interesting from now on, Naruto smirked. While the Biju nodded, everything will change. Naruto's group are traveling through the Everfree forest in a steady pace, making their way to Ponyville. Front of the group is Applejack with Rainbow Dash. Behind them, Rarity and Fluttershy, and far behind them would be Pinky, Naruto and Applebloom. Rainbow Dash looks behind the group, keeps an eye out for the new pony they're traveling with. She may be thinking the stallion is cute, but she still gives him suspicious look. Why is he in the forest anyway? He could be an evil pony who wants to rule over us, but at the same time it's like she can trust this pony because he is giving off this warmth, feeling like a blanket protecting her from any harm. She looks at the stallion. Naruto gives her a warm smile. It made her heart skip a beat. She shook her head with a tint of pink on her cheeks and looks away. They arrived outside the forest, took deep breaths. They sighed because of relief that they're out of the forest. Then they kept on moving toward to town. Naruto looking left and right, seeing different kinds of colorful pony. The group stood apart from Naruto, then looks in front of him and they greeted him with a welcome smile. Welcome to Ponyville, Naruto. Pinky shouting excitedly. Oh, I must prepare your welcome party. Pinky disappear in a gust of leaves. Naruto's eyes went wide. Did Pinky use Shunshin? I thought ponies didn't know jutsu? Naruto shook his head, looks towards his group. Rarity approaches Naruto. Come darling, we'll give you the grand tour around town. Before the group travels through the town, they hear a cry right above them. Look out. Naruto ducks as the gray Pegasus with crossed eyes shot over his head, nearly colliding with him. The dark orange stallion looked back at the downed mare and goes towards her if she was all right. The mare pushes herself back to her feet with a little groan. Don't know what went wrong. The gray replied with a disappointed tone. Hey, you okay? Naruto asked the Pegasus, who shook her head in an effort to recover from the impact. Once she had recovered, the Pegasus looks at the stallion with slight of pink at her cheeks. How handsome the stallion is. Yep, I'm okay. I'm just delivering mails. Hi. Name's Derpy Hooves. Derpy greeted the handsome stallion in front of her. Well, my name's Naruto Uzumaki. No mister. No sir. Just Naruto. Naruto greeted Derpy back. Naruto looks at her curiously. Hey, you sure you're okay? Your eyes? Naruto was cut off by Derpy. No, my eyes are just fine. My eyes has always been like this. Derpy has a sadly expression on her. Derpy blushes heavily. A stallion called her cute. No one called her that. Thank you. I must keep going now. I have more mails to delivery. She looks away, picks up her bag, then she looks back before moving on. At the sideline, four mares who was with Naruto and got slight annoyed that the gray Pegasus got all the attention from the stallion, but they don't know why. Why they felt like this. Are they jealous? They just met the dark orange stallion. While Applebloom got confused why her sister got angry, few seconds later she knows why her sister got angry. She smiled evilly. Okay, bye Derpy. Hope we see each other again. I would like to hang out with you. Naruto waved goodbye to Derpy. Derpy blushes, as the stallion wants to hang out with her. Then she moves faster from the embarrassment. After Naruto says his goodbye to Derpy, he looks at the four mares in front of him. They're slightly angry at him. Naruto's sweat drops. Is something wrong? Naruto asked with a caution tone. The Bijus just snickered in Naruto's misfortune. Oh, Naruto-kun, you poor boy. Matabi and Chome will teach Naruto about girls one day. The males Biju laugh at Naruto's inability to understand girls. Oh, nothing, darling. Come now, let's start our tour. Rarity grits her teeth before regains her composure. Naruto and his group found themselves walking down the main street of Ponyville, a cool breeze whisking past them, bringing with a plethora of different smells. Flowers and freshly baked bread were the most dominant in the air. Ponies were out and about, some idly standing around enjoying the great day, while others were in a rush to get to where they were going. Rustic houses and small gardens lined the street, each garden filled with vegetables, flowers, or a dazzling combination of both. They passed by what seemed to be the market area. Market stalls stuffed to the brim with a bunch of different goods lined the square, each with a pony advertising their own goods. Ponies meandered around stall to stall picking up what they wanted, their wallets slowly growing emptier. From first glance, it was a pretty prosperous town. reminding him of the ones he passed through when he traveled through his world. It made him slightly homesick, but he would get used to it eventually. Apple Bloom noticed Naruto's expression and stopped walking. "Is something wrong, Naruto?" Apple Bloom asked. Naruto stopped as well and looked at her. "Oh, nothing. It's just, I didn't notice it before, but the air here, it's so clean and fresh. And it feels peaceful here," Naruto said. Apple Bloom tilted her head at this, but still gave a cheery smile. "Well, feel free to breathe whatever air is around. It's not going anywhere soon," the group giggled. This made Naruto chuckle. As he did, a small gurgling sound came from Naruto's stomach. He looked down in embarrassment as he scratched his head with his hoof. Hey, guess Mr. Hungry down there doesn't like the fact I haven't eaten yet, he said with a sheepish smile. "Any place to grab a bite to eat around here? I'm starving." "Sure, there's a restaurant a couple of blocks around here," Rainbow Dash answers. "Lead the way." Haha. As they continued walking down the street, they found restaurant. Naruto looks at the place. The restaurant has both outdoors and indoor seating in the form of bales of hay and giant-sized mushroom tables. Naruto and the mares were at the outside of the restaurant. Since they sell stuff only ponies would eat like flowers or grass, Naruto was looking for ramen at the menu. "Hey, do you guys have any ramen?" Naruto asked their waiter. Savoir-faire, an earth pony waiter with a pale cream coat, a two-toned blue mane and tail, brown eyes, and a cutie mark of a serving dish with a silver cover. "Ramen? What's that?" the stallion asked. This couldn't be. Naruto felt like he'd just been told the sun would never rise again. He grinned weakly at the stallion, hoping beyond all hope. "Haha, that's a good one. But seriously, you can make some ramen, right?" The stallion looked at the mares, who shrugged back. He looked back at Naruto, who was beginning to look distinctly uneasy. "I'm sorry, monsieur, but I really don't know what ramen is," he said. Every pony in Ponyville could hear a scream of despair going, "No." Naruto was grumbling as he followed the group through the Ponyville. The flour sandwich the chefs had made were undeniably tasty, but how could these ponies have never made ramen? It was like, Naruto didn't know a word to accurately describe it, but it was just bad and it's making him crazy. The group tried to hide their amusement at Naruto's seeming distress. The way he was pouting over this ramen showed that through it all, like he was still a child. But they find it cute. Before they move on to their next destination, they hear another cry, "Move out of the way." They saw an orange Pegasus filly with purple mane and tail, riding a scooter and is in collisions course to Naruto. "What's with these ponies try to ram into me?" Naruto jumps to avoid the little filly. The filly looks back and sigh in relief that she didn't crash onto that dark orange stallion. But now she has a new obstacle to confront: a fruit stand in front of her. She crashes at the fruit stand. Naruto's group rushes towards to the little filly if she was alright. Naruto approaches to the orange filly. "Hey, you okay?" The filly groaned, push herself to her feet and reply, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm tougher than I look." The filly looked at the stallion and his group. She spotted a pony in Naruto's group, a rainbow mane pony. She froze, then she excitedly rushed towards Rainbow Dash. "Oh my gosh, you're Rainbow Dash, the greatest flyer of all Equestria." Rainbow Dash smirked, looking at the filly. She is one of her fan. "Yeah kid, the one and only." The orange filly squeals for joy. She finally meets her idol. "My name is Scootaloo. I'm your #1 fan. I know your every move." Scootaloo smiles widely at her idol. Maybe she could teach how to fly. "You don't say." Rainbow Dash raise an eyebrow. Scootaloo frowns from disappointment. "Well, I know them, it just I can't fly yet." She looks away, afraid of her idol, thinking that Rainbow Dash must be thinking of her as some kind of a loser. "Don't how to fly yet." Rainbow Dash gives Scootaloo an encouraging smile. "Hey now, you're still a little filly, you still can fly. One of these days, when that day come, I will teach you all my awesome stunts to you." The orange filly's eyes widens, looking at her idol. "Really? You do that?" Rainbow Dash nodded. Scootaloo jumps for joy. She can't wait to fly, so Rainbow Dash can teach all her awesome tricks. Rainbow introduces her friends to Scootaloo. Every pony greet her. Scootaloo is introduced to Apple Bloom. They became fast friends, talking about how to get their cutie mark. Naruto suggests Scootaloo to come join them for the tour. Scootaloo nodded. She could have some time with her idol. Next stop, they found themselves in front of a dressmaking shop. Naruto checks the house out and was awed by the sheer look of it. It seems to be a two-story house which was painted purple, blue, yellow and white. It sort of looked like a mini castle. On top of the door there was a sign that read Carousel Boutique. Welcome darling to my humble home. Welcome to Carousel Boutique, where every garment is chic, unique and magnifique. Rarity greeted every pony to her home with her shop slogan. Every pony enter the shop. The boutique was more stunning on the inside, in Naruto's opinion. His hooves trotted forward as they were on autopilot as he stared in amazement. The bright vibrant of colors caught his eye right away, many assorted in various arrangements in what resembled clothing, each differing from the other in some way. Even Naruto knew the work of an expert. Rarity, your home? Naruto looks at the corners of his eyes. He sees a filly exiting from the kitchen. The filly is Unicorn Filly. She has a white body, a purple and pink mane and tail, and her eyes were pale green. Sweet Belle, yes, I'm home. I hope nothing bad happened to my shop, right? Rarity looks at her sister with a suspicious glares. Sweet Belle got nervous and tried to defend herself. Of course not. Nothing happened, everything's is fine. Sweet Belle nervously smiled at her sister. Rarity looks at her sister again with a suspicious look, then she releases her tension on Sweet Belle. She nodded and looks toward her friends. Any pony like some tea? The group nodded, they could have some tea at the moment. Rarity trotted to the kitchen to make some tea for every pony. Sweet Belle sighed of relief, she's out of her sister's wrath. She looks at her sister's friends and greeted them. Hi, my name is Sweet Belle, Rarity's sister. Well, Sugar Cube. Name's Applejack. Applejack introduce herself, then point at the next pony. That's Rainbow Dash, Fluttershy, Naruto, and the fillies over there is my little sister Applebloom and Scootaloo. Applejack introduce every pony to Sweet Belle. Nice to meet you all. Sweet Belle stares both at Applebloom and Scootaloo curiously. Can I help y'all? Applebloom feels uncomfortable from Sweet Belle's stare. Oh sorry, it's just, you guys don't have cutie marks. Applebloom and Scootaloo frowns deflated, their ears turned into sad expression. Sweet Belle saw their expression. She frowned, she didn't mean to make them sad. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to insult you. It's just that I'm also a blank flank. Sweet Belle frowns, looking at her mark-less rear. Applebloom raises an eyebrow, it gave her an idea. She smiles at Sweet Belle. What if the three of us work together to find out who we are and what we're supposed to be? Said Applebloom as she wondered what they were going to do to find their special talent. Ooh, we could form our own secret society, said Sweetie Belle. I'm liking this idea, said Scootaloo. A secret society. Yeah, we need a name for it though, said Applebloom. The Cutie Mark III? Asked Scootaloo. The Cutastically Fantastics? Asked Sweetie Belle. How about the Cutie Mark Crusaders? Applebloom said, which got approval from the other two fillies. It's perfect, shouted Scootaloo. This is gonna be so great, said Sweetie Belle. We're gonna be unstoppable, shouted Applebloom. Naruto's group smile at the three fillies. A new bond has been forged. That could never break. Naruto smiles at them, it reminded him from his days with Team 7. Of course his team is a little complicated. After Rarity serves their tea, the group moves to their next location. Rarity won't join them, she has to finish her work. Rainbow Dash has to go back to the weather team before the sun sets, and Fluttershy has to attend to her animal friends back at her cottage. That leaves Naruto and Applejack. The newly formed Cutie Mark Crusaders leaves the group to go hang out and find their cutie marks, but before they left they heard a cry of a wrath of an angry fashion designer sister. Sweet Belle, what have you done to my inspiration room? Sweet Belle sweating. Oh look at the time. Got to go. Sweet Belle ran for the hill, don't want to face her angry sister. Her friends followed her. The group chuckled, said their goodbyes. They will see each other later tonight. Naruto and Applejack made their way through town, following a dirt path until a large red barn could be seen in the distance, and a forest of apple trees flanked either side of the two. So, an apple orchard called Sweet Apple Acres is owned by your family? Is there a high demand for apples in Ponyville? Naruto asked. It's not that there's a demand, but Ma family are well known for growing some of the best apples in Equestria. The family is spread all over the country. Applejack explained. Naruto lets out an impressed whistle. Okay, little more impressive than I was expecting. Applejack chuckled. Just a little. They made their way towards the front door and Applejack stepped forward. Opened the door. Naruto sees an elderly mare with light lime green coat, orange eyes, light gray mane and tail. She had a cutie mark of an apple pie. Who's sitting on a rocking chair? Howdy Granny, I brought my friend for some apples. Applejack greeted her grandmother. "Well, hello there dearie. You brought some guest. My name is Granny Smith, or call me Granny, everybody else does." Granny Smith greeted Naruto. "Granny, this is Naruto, his new in town." Applejack introduces Naruto to her grandmother. Naruto nodded to Granny Smith. Then Naruto meet another pony larger than him comes from the back door of Applejack's barn. He had red fur, a scruffy ginger mane and tail. His cutie mark is depicted with 6 pointed white stars around the apple. "Hey Naruto, meet my big brother, Big Macintosh," said Applejack as she stood across from them, introducing the young stallion. "Hey, my name is Naruto," said Naruto, giving him a small wave. "Hi, so you work at Sweet Apple Acres?" Yup. "So is it fun working at Sweet Apple Acres?" Yup. "You're a stallion of few words, aren't you?" Yup. "Want to be friends?" "Sure." "Sweet." Every pony moved to the dining room to eat some apples. Naruto sat at the table, eating a piece of apple pie, apple fritters and a big glass of apple juice that had been served for him. "Eat up every pony," said Applejack, taking a seat and grabbing some apple fritters. Everyone began to eat. Just as Naruto was about to get an apple pie, Granny Smith looks at him. Granny Smith examines Naruto and nodded. "So I take it you're Applejack's cult friend?" she asked. Applejack began choking slightly on her fritter, eventually starting to cough heavily while the Bijus and Big Mac giggled slightly. "A cult friend? What's that?" Naruto replied, took a bite of his pie. You know, a special sumpony, one of the herd." Naruto frowned a little as he thought about it. "What? Hang on, replace pony with body. Special somebody, isn't a cult a guy? A guy friend. Boyfriend, she thinks Applejack's my." "Oh no Granny, I and Applejack aren't like that." Naruto explained Granny Smith that Applejack and he are not together. "Well, what are you talking about? Applejack here is in her prime. Look at her mane and tail, as gold as Celestia's sun. The build of an athlete, and though she doesn't like showing it, she has the perfect hips for bearing foals." "Granny!" Applejack exclaimed, her orange-furred cheeks burning brightly for all to see. "What? There's no need to be embarrassed about it. Well, we're not together in that way, ain't that right Naruto?" "That's right," he replied, his cheeks glowing in crimson too. Granny shook her head and got out of her seat, hobbling over to the stallion. "Well, can't see why not. Look at this here feller, stand up dearie." Naruto nodded and stood up. "He looks strong, he's a gentle colt too." "Granny, I just met him." Applejack tried to hide her red cheeks. "Now AJ, it doesn't matter if you've just met. Your ma and pa were the same." "Yeah AJ. It was like love at first sight," Big Mac said through his chuckling. Applejack shot her brother a glare, he's still holding back his laughing. "That's right, now let's see here," Granny Smith said as she looks at Naruto up and down. "He seems spry enough, he could probably be a good help around the farm." She grabbed one of his legs and started squeezing it. "He's got good muscles on him. Y'all work out a lot, sonny?" "Why yeah I do. Makes sense, polite too." She looks at him up and down one more time before smiling. "Seems like a fine colt to me. You know there aren't many stallions around AJ, so you better snap her up quick." "Granny, please stop," Applejack demanded. Naruto's entire face was flushed completely red and felt so hot that he thought steam was going to come out of his ears. Granny just gave a wide grin. "I mean it AJ, you better get him quick. Heck, with a flank like that I might even try to get him." Granny Smith exclaimed as she slapped Naruto on the rear. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Bijus and Big Mac burst into a full-blown laughter, tears rolling down their cheeks while Granny Smith was crackling too. Naruto's eyes went wide as he stammered. I think I should head off now," he said. Applejack grabbed his arm and pulled him towards the door. "Come on Sugar Cube." Naruto came out of Applejack's home. His belly is full and his face is beet red. Applejack walks out with him with her hoof cupping her face, while the Bijus still laughing inside Naruto's head. "Shut up you guys." Naruto got annoyed from the Bijus laughing. "I'm so sorry for that. I've never seen her act that way." It's fine Applejack, I'm sure no ill intentions were meant by it." "I still can't believe Granny slapped y'all on the flank," Applejack said as she looked down at her hooves. They were making their way towards a gingerbread house while the sun was beginning to set. "Nah, it's fine," Naruto chuckled nervously. "So where to next?" "Next we're going to Sugar Cube Corner," Applejack replied. As they continued walking down the street, something caught his eye. It was a house of gingerbread, complete with graham crackers, icing, cherries, sprinkles, and gumdrops. He hadn't seen anything that amazing before. He stood there in awe, his mouth slightly drooling. He looked at Applejack, the corner of his mouth starting to twitch. Do we have to eat that entire house? I mean, even I have limits. Applejack giggled. Applejack opened the door. The door gave way to complete darkness on the other side. Not a single light was on, and even though the moon was out, they could only see a foot or two into the shop. Naruto looked back towards Applejack. I think they're closed, and forgot to lock the door. Naruto grinned. Oh well, let's rob the place, I'm hungry anyway. Hey, touch the goods and you'll regret it. Came a random voice through the door. Shuffling and muffled voices could be heard in the darkness. Naruto glanced back and forth between the door and Applejack. The house just spoke to me. Is this place haunted? Naruto said, confused. Applejack sighed in frustration as she bumped him through the door and into the shop. He yelped at the unexpected nudge and tripped over his own hooves onto the floor. Then the doors slammed shut without warning, plunging the once moonlit entrance into inky blackness. That did it. He was creeped out now. Hello? He spoke to the darkness. The lights turned on a moment later, blinding him. Surprise! Several voices yelled out at once. Naruto scurried backward until he hit something cold and solid in shock. He squinted, trying to get his eyes accustomed to the light before opening them fully. His jaw hit the floor. Fluttershy, Rainbow Dash, Applejack, Pinkie Pie, Rarity and CMC stood in front of the other ponies who were crowding the shop. He didn't seem to recognize any other pony in the shop at the moment. However, he wasn't gasping in awe at his friends but at the bakery itself. Balloons, streamers, ribbons, glitter, and confetti covered almost every surface inside the shop. Hanging in the middle of the room was a big cloth banner, the words, "Welcome Naruto," in bright gold letters. Tables lined the walls, each filled with an eye-catching assortment of cakes, pastries, and food that smelled heavenly even from afar. A gigantic bowl of what seemed to be fruit punch was in the corner, area in front of what seemed to be a DJ booth, some ponies already helping themselves to the sweet concoctions. His stomach gurgled in anticipation of the feast ahead. Well, what are we waiting for? Let party. Naruto grinned excitedly announced, every pony cheer. The crowd was bustling and lively as party streamers and confetti stayed aloft in the air, as if they too were dancing to the music. Pinkie Pie rocketed around the room dancing, occasionally stopping at the food table to grab a cupcakes or two before flying off once more into the crowd. Applejack was talking with Big Mac by the punch table while Rainbow was animatedly gesturing and talking with Rarity and Fluttershy in the corner. So you've never heard of ramen before? Naruto was now talking to Mr. Cake, whom Mrs. Cake had introduced him to soon after the party had gotten completely underway. They started off with idle banter about their daily lives in Ponyville before it eventually ended up with Naruto constantly questioning the baker about ramen. Mr. Cake shook his head. Nope, can't say I have Naruto, sorry. Oh, he said, his stance noticeably deflating. 3 strikes and that's that, Naruto thought. Ramen didn't exist in this world. Or he was just asking the wrong ponies. Regardless, he still had no leads on finding ramen again. Mr. Cake placed a comforting hoof on his shoulder. Keep your head up Naruto, he said cheerfully, I'm sure some pony knows about it. From your description, it sounds like a foreign delicacy. Maybe you'd have better luck in one of the bigger towns. Then again, you could always make it yourself since you seem to know a lot about it. Now that was an idea. Naruto making his own ramen? A while back, he did help out Ichiraku when they were in a tight pinch. Ichiraku taught him and his friends the steps on how to prepare and cook the perfect bowl of ramen. How could he have forgotten such a thing? He could open his own shop and eat ramen whenever he wanted. As Naruto drifted off into ramen land with a lifetime ticket, he was jerked away by Pinkie and dragged onto the dance floor. What are you doing Pinkie? What do you think silly? You're going to dance with me, she said, twisting her body in such ways that made even Naruto cringe. He watched as she danced across the floor gracefully avoiding some ponies and purposely nudging others during her maneuvers. Naruto panicked as he was suddenly flung around the room by Pinkie Pie's hooves. Despite the incredible G-force he was undergoing, he couldn't help but wonder. How was Pinkie bending in such ridiculous ways and how was she holding onto him with no fingers? Naruto was beginning to get dizzy from the crazy dancing, trying to tell her to stop. Pinky, stop. I don't even know how to dance, and this is definitely not dancing. Of course it is silly pants. Every pony dances like this, she said as she dropped Naruto to the floor in a tangled pile of limbs. Who in the world dances like this? I do. That's not the point. Naruto thought once more as he shakily stood up. Also the Bijus got dizzy inside Naruto's mindscape. Ah, make it stop. I'm about to hurl. Shukaku shouting before covering his mouth. Don't you dare, Shukaku. You can't vomit in my mind. Naruto stopped Shukaku from vomiting, but got another thought about Bijus. Matter of fact, where you guys going to bathroom anyway? The Bijus shrugged back. Well, you see there no bathroom here, so. Gyuki answered nervously. Naruto's entire face filled with horror and disgust. No. Oh my Kami. Yuck. Gross. Oh come on. You could at least tell me I could imagine a bathroom in there. As the party continued, everyone seemed to be having a spectacular time. That is, except for Naruto, who was still being flung around the room like a rag doll. After what seemed like an eternity, Pinkie Pie finally let Naruto go and ventured off to find some hot sauce of all things. He honestly didn't care at this point what she did as long as it didn't involve him for a while. With each step, a twinge of dull pain shot up his front legs as he made his way to the nearest seat. He sighed in relief as his legs were now off the ground. He eyed the crowd as he sat there, and he soon found himself deep in thought. Back home, he never recalled attending such a large party. In fact, when was the last time he even went to a party? It felt alien to him. Probably because the parties he attended weren't of the happy kind. A tear fell down his face as thoughts he never attend a party before, he never get invited to any of his classmates to their party. Even if they invited him, their parents won't let them. Naruto walked over to the table lined with different foods and some punch. He grabbed a glass and filled it with the pink liquid before looking out to the crowd of ponies. Are you enjoying yourself? Came a voice from beside him. Naruto turned and saw Fluttershy standing there. He gave her a smile before looking out to the crowd once more. Yeah, having a great time. Gotta remember to thank Pinky, wherever she disappeared to. He said as he looked around. I'm sure she knows, she just likes to make sure that every pony is having fun. So why are you over here by yourself? Oh, I'm just not good with large crowds. It's fine though, I'm okay just watching. Naruto frowned slightly in response. That doesn't matter, it's not like they're wild animals. He said with a laugh. A noise caught his attention and he looked to the source. A tipsy Rainbow Dash was wrestling with a tipsy Applejack, while Applejack was riding on top of Pinkie Pie. So that's where she went. Fluttershy just giggled while watching. A sound echoed through the room and a voice came from the DJ booth. White unicorn mare with cobalt blue with brilliant cyan stripes, mane and tail with purple shade sunglasses, and her cutie mark is the mirror image of two bridged eighth notes. Alright every pony, it's great to see you all here for our new Foxy Pony. Vinyl Scratch spoke through the attached microphone. As she lowers her shade, she winks at Naruto. The crowd lets out a loud whoop. Now it's time to crank up the tunes and get those hooves on the dance floor. Vinyl started flipping some switches on her soundboard and the music started, many ponies starting to dance to the sound. Oh, that looks like so much fun, Fluttershy said. Naruto smiled and set down his glass. Wanna dance then? What? Do you want to dance? I don't know. Naruto let out a sigh with a smile and grabbed her hand. Come on, you only live once after all. He grinned as Fluttershy stammered. He grasped her arms and lifted her onto her hooves before walking with her to the dance floor. Having let Rainbow Dash down and moved away from the floor as every pony began to dance. Of course Naruto don't know how to dance, but he wants to make Fluttershy comfortable around ponies to lose some tension from her. Fluttershy blushes as she was dancing with Naruto. It may not be a graceful dance, but for Fluttershy she was in heaven. They lock each other eyes dancing the night away. Fluttershy, you okay? Look kinda red. Naruto put his forehead to Fluttershy's forehead. I guess you're okay? You're not feverish or anything. Hey kid, take her now, she look ready for you, Kurama told Naruto within the mindscape. What you mean Kurama? I'm saying go have with her, ravish her, dominate her, fuck her brains out. Why would I do that? Baka Fox, I'm a human and she's a pony, it will never work. You're a pony now, dumbass. You need a lady in your life, not like that pink hair bitch. Not this one, the another one. Naruto looks at Pinky. No, not the crazy mare. I mean from our world, idiot. While Naruto was battling with his mind, Fluttershy blushes in crimson red. Naruto's face was so close to her, she could faint right on the spot. Back in her mind, she wants to take Naruto home and ravish him. Take him now. No, Naruto won't want that. Look at him, he's asking for you to ride on him. Fluttershy blushes some more. No, if I want Naruto, I want it slow and steady. I don't want ruin our friendship. AWH. You're just a coward. I know you want to use all those position from your Playmare magazine on him. That was the final straw. Fluttershy fainted. Naruto panic. Fluttershy, you okay? Speak to me. His friends rushes towards the two. Seeing an unconscious red goofy smile, Fluttershy and Naruto pleaded to wake Fluttershy up. I told you, you should take her earlier. Kurama snickered. Shut up, Baka Arrow Fox. The Bijus just laugh in his mindscape. What happened? Rainbow Dash said. I don't know, we're just dancing. Then her body turned completely red. Naruto's still in a panic. His friends just sighed. Rarity approaches Naruto. It's okay, darling, she fine. She just needs some rest. Naruto nodded. Rainbow grabs her unconscious friend and brings her home. Party is still going strong. Naruto approaches Pinky. Hey. Thanks for the party, Pinky. Naruto gives her a quick hug. With that she returned eagerly. You are very welcome, said Pinkie Pie as she let go of him. She steps back. Meet a good friend of mine. Her name is Vinyl Scratch, but her stage name is DJPON3. She is always able to give me the best jams for my parties. It's no problem, Pinky. Always happy to help one of my best buds, said the girl as she pushed her glasses, showing her magenta eyes. So you're the guy that we're throwing the party for, said Vinyl, looking at Naruto taking his figure. Gotta say you're a lot better looking than the way Pinky had described you. As she moves closer to Naruto's face, giving him a seductive look. Naruto blushes how close her face is, then she extended her hoof, which Naruto took. Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto Uzumaki, huh? Cool name, she said as she let go of his hoof. We should hang out later, so you can meet a friend of mine. She's a bit uptight, but she is a great friend. She puts her glasses back on. Anyway, I better go. Sumponi has to keep the music pumping. She winks at him and swaying her hips, which brought Naruto's attention to looks her ass as she started to walk away from him and back to the DJ booth. Hey, Naruto, don't have anywhere to stay for the night? Slight tipsy Applejack call Naruto. Exactly, no, don't have anywhere to sleep, Naruto replied. Well, you can come live with us at the barn. Are you sure? I don't want to impose. Naruto nervously look at Applejack. It's fine, we have extra room at the barn, Applejack said. Okay, if you're sure? I won't mind. Great, tomorrow morning you have to work. And don't y'all lazy around in ma barn. Applejack smiled at him. Now let's continue this party, Hiwa. Naruto chuckled and follows the cowmare. Somewhere in an unknown location, there's a gigantic gate guarded by three-headed dog named Cerberus. But beyond this gate, what we seek, Tartarus. This place is a prison for the most evil creatures that walks in Equestria. Lays deep down lower level of Tartarus we see a cage, inside of it a creature that have a body of a horse, but it has an upper body of a minotaur, black coat, red skin, white mane, bread and tail, has two tiny horns on its head. The creature's name is Tyrek, an evil centaurian tyrant who imprisoned in Tartarus for stealing magic from the ponies of Equestria centuries ago. Well, I have a new roommate. Tyrek looks at the new figure in the cage across of him. The figure steps forward to the light so Tyrek could see better. He saw a pony? A pony with red armored chest plate, dark gray coat, long black mane and tail. His cutie looks like a fan with white at the top and red at the bottom. When Tyrek looks closely, the pony have wings. This pony is an alicorn. When the alicorn opened his eyes, Tyrek saw ripple-like pattern which spreads over the pony eyes, with both light purple sclerae and irides. Do my new roommate has a name? Tyrek raises an eyebrow, asking the mysterious alicorn. The alicorn spoke, Madara Uchiha. Celestia's sun rises from the mountains, to greet the ponies of Ponyville, ponies going to their daily life. But one particular male pony still sleeping in. The morning sunlight shines at his window, hitting his face. He blocks the light, covering himself with his blanket, didn't want to disturb his morning sleep. But before he snoozes back to dreamland, a small cry interrupted him from his sleep. Naruto, wake up. The door opened from his room. He saw little Philly rushes towards him. jump into his bed and bounce on him to wake him up. Wake up, wake up. The summer sun celebration is today. The filly excitedly telling Naruto about the event going on in Ponyville. Scoot, the SSC is until tomorrow, Naruto groans under his sheet. Yeah, but I'm so excited I just can't wait, said Scootaloo with excitement oozing out of her. The music, food and the games. It's going to be great. Okay, I'm up. Scootaloo, the filly nodded, rushes towards downstairs. Naruto rubs his eyes, stretches his body and gets out from his bed. A lot changes for Naruto in 1.5-year time span. Nothing changed much for Naruto physically. The only thing changed is his spiked blonde mane grew a length that could reach to his shoulder but with red tip at the end. Maybe it came from his Uzumaki genes, still have 2 horns like Bang's top of his mane. Naruto moves downstairs towards to the kitchen. He saw Scootaloo already sitting at the table waiting for him to make her some breakfast. He still remembered the day he adopted Scootaloo and moved in with her a year ago. Flashback. Naruto was walking down the street of Ponyville. Suddenly he hears a cry in a house like any other house in Ponyville but have flower bushes surrounding the middle of the house. Naruto looks at the window. He saw Scootaloo crying at the table staring to nothing. Naruto frowns seeing that one of his friends crying with no one to comfort her. Naruto walks up to the front door. He steps forward to knock but before he could knock it was already open. He steps inside slowly. Naruto moves towards the kitchen. He hears Scootaloo mumbling something. It's not fair, why can't I have a family? Scootaloo mumbles between sobbing. Naruto frowns remembering growing up all alone without a family, one took care of him. Only Hokage Gigi who took care of him, but nothing much because he was so busy being a Hokage. Naruto approaches Scootaloo. As she continued sobbing she felt a warmth embrace covering her. She looks up, she saw Naruto who's giving her a sad smile. Dear, it's okay. Everything will be fine from now on. Flashback end. Naruto adopted Scootaloo that next following day. Naruto asked where she got the house. She said it was left by her late parents. She didn't remember them but her next door neighbor said they disappeared one night leaving Scootaloo at a tender age of 5 months old. Scootaloo said she has a nanny once who took care of her but she died of old age leaving Scootaloo in the age of 7 years old. Naruto asked her how she survived without anyone's help for that past 3 years. She said she had money left for her before her parents disappeared. Naruto was impressed by the little filly. She's tougher than he thought. She was like him surviving all those years in Konoha. Naruto decided to move in with Scootaloo. Applejack tried to protest. She wants Naruto to stay at the barn and let Scootaloo move in with them. But Naruto explained the house that Scootaloo was living on. It was a gift from her late parents and he didn't want her to leave her last memento from them. Applejack sighs in defeat. Of course Naruto told her he will still work on their apple farm. That made Applejack slightly happy to hear that. After Naruto adopted Scootaloo he brought her to Ponyville Hospital for her checkup. The results were devastating for Scootaloo. Flash black. I'm sorry Mr. Uzumaki, the filly will never fly even if she'll a full-grown mare, the pony doctor said in a sad tone. You see Mr. Uzumaki, her bone fracture is damaged beyond repair. Her radius bones were badly damaged in a young age. It stopped healing in a certain point of her life and her ulna is so underdeveloped she won't even lift off. It's almost impossible for her to fly. I'm so sorry Mr. Uzumaki. The Dr. Pony explained to Naruto about Scootaloo's condition. After returning from the hospital, he arrives at the house of Scootaloo soon to be his and her home. After more paperworks for Scootaloo's adoption paper, Naruto groans. It is the cage nightmare. He steps inside the house. He moves upstairs to Scootaloo's room. He found the little filly laying on her bed crying her eyes out. After discovering she could never fly, she went straight home to her room. Naruto approaches the orange filly, puts a hoof on her shoulder. Hey, I know, I don't understand how you feel about this. I'm not a Pegasus, but doesn't mean you can't find a new purpose in life. Scootaloo looks at Naruto who gives him a hug. Naruto who returned it with a warm embrace. After their first family moments, Naruto put his hooves on Scootaloo's shoulders and looks at her with a sad smile. Hey, I want to show you something cool. Scootaloo looks at Naruto curiously. Naruto stood apart from her. He moves to the center of the room, looks at Scootaloo directly. Naruto claps both of his hooves together and yell. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. In a puff of smoke Scootaloo jerks off from her bed. After the smoke cleared up she saw two Narutos. Two Narutos? Wow, how do you do that? Scootaloo asked her new step-brother. Naruto chuckled, well, it's called a jutsu. I use chakra to perform one of my jutsu, Naruto replied to the curious filly. Scootaloo's eyes went wide. You have more of those jutsu? Can I learn it? She wondered if she can learn this jutsu thing. Naruto nodded. Yeah, every pony can use jutsu as long they have a chakra for it. Do I have chakra? Of course, every living being have chakra, but I will not teach you how to use it, Naruto said in a serious tone. Scootaloo frowned, but Naruto smirked. I won't teach you ninjutsu, but I will teach you in ninshu. Scootaloo raised an eyebrow. What's ninshu? While ninjutsu was born in a war, but ninshu was born for peace and understanding to one another. Someday I will teach you ninshu. Scootaloo smiles. Pinky promise? Naruto raised an eyebrow. Pinky promise? Scootaloo was doing some gesture with her hoof. Pinky promise. Cross my heart. Hope to fly. Stick a cupcake in my eye. Now you. Okay. Cross my heart. Hope to fly. Stick a cupcake in my eye. Naruto repeats the gesture. Scootaloo smiles at Naruto. He promised her someday he will teach this ninshu stuff. Don't worry Scoot, you're an Uzumaki now. We Uzumaki never breaks a promise, dat bayo. Naruto smirked and also doing a nice guy pose in pony style. Flashback end. Naruto smiles at that memory as he walks to the pantry. Hey. Scoot, what do you want for breakfast? Naruto asked the filly, who is sitting at the table. Apple ramen. Scootaloo immediately answers Naruto what she wants. Naruto knows how to make ramen now with the help of Pinky and Applejack. They taught him how to cook with any pony-related recipes. It was a few weeks after he adopted Scootaloo. He was searching for any ramen recipes in his memories and asking the bijus if any of them know any recipes. After some headache searching in his mind, he found it. He immediately gets to work. He has to get some PA or pony-approved ingredients. Ponies don't eat meat, so he has to buy some apples, carrots, some celery and some that pony eats. Naruto was experimenting for weeks until he made his first apple ramen. Naruto gives it to Scootaloo to try. Scootaloo was hesitating to eat this ramen. She grabs a fork and she blows at it because it was hot. She puts it in her mouth, and she chews some more and swallows it. In few seconds Scootaloo went into delight. She grabs the bowl and swallow it whole, and asking for more. Naruto got huge smiles. Immediately he made some more for the little filly. After serving Scootaloo her ramen, Naruto went to the Apple family to tell them about his ramen. The Apple family tries some of his ramen. After they tasted his ramen, immediately they ask Naruto to make some more. Ramen has been popular ever since. If any Apple family who's catering in any event in Ponyville, ramen is always a top seller. Naruto smiles at her and nodded. Naruto grabs some flour, 3 eggs and salt. Then Naruto summoned 2 clones without clapping his hooves. He commands his clones, okay. Clone number 1 will do chopping the ingredients. Clone number 2 set up the table while I make the pasta. His clones saluted, all right boss. Naruto summoned chakra arms from his back without going tailed state. He gained this ability a year ago, using his chakra arms to mold the dough, flattened it and toss it into the air. Using his chakra claws to slice the dough into thinly strips and putting it in boiling water and of course add salt on the boiling water. While Naruto and his clones was doing the cooking, at the other side of the kitchen Scootaloo observes Naruto looking at all his cool jutsu. Scootaloo thinking, will she do all those jutsu that Naruto was talking about? Her training started not too long ago. 2 months ago Scootaloo trained with Naruto building her chakra in a certain point. What she enables to do now is Kawarimi, Bunshin and Henge. Her Henge was not perfect compared to Naruto. Very basic for Scootaloo. She wants to do some more awesome jutsu. But Naruto forbids it, not until she builds up her chakra reserve. Her chakra was very low for a shinobi standard, but he built her chakra reserve to the point that she is mid-genin level to high genin level. Naruto also taught Scootaloo some taijutsu. He taught her some of his frog kata, Goken style and some karate from Rainbow Dash. Of course he also taught her the infamous dynamic entry. Scootaloo promises Naruto to never tell any pony about his or her jutsu. She only uses jutsu in no choice situation, then she can kick some flank. Speaking of training, Naruto was training for the past year 2, building up his chakra control to the point that could rival the Shodai Hokage. He could introduce Scootaloo to his training, but she won't survive. His training is a little extreme, of course, if you have 9 Bijus coaching you. The Bijus trained Naruto to the brink of exhaustion. When he returned home, he couldn't eat any ramen, that's how tired he is. Naruto learned that he can use jutsu while using his chakra arms for head seals, or he just thinks the hand seals in his mind. The Bijus taught Naruto all the jutsu that they know, their previous Jinchuriki and more. Each Bijus taught Naruto in different area of jutsu. Matabi teaches Naruto in fire release and cat-related taijutsu. Isobyu and Seiken teaches Naruto in water release and genjutsu. Of course, genjutsu is still Naruto's worst area, but improved a lot. He can use C to B rank genjutsu now. Son Goku teaches Naruto in earth release and lava release. Kakuo teaches Naruto in wind release. Chomei teaches Naruto also in wind release and some insect-related jutsu. Gyuki teaches Naruto in lightning release and third Raikage jutsu when he fought him. Both Kurama and Shukaku teaches Naruto about Fuinjutsu, and Shukaku also teach him in magnet release. Of course, without his Kage Bunshin, he couldn't reach the level he is in now. Without his beloved jutsu, he can only reach mid-Jonin level to low Kage level. While his was still at the shinobi world, he was a low Jonin level. But now he has 9-tailed beasts resides in him. His chakra reserve is through the roof. When he had Kurama's chakra plus his own, he can only summon 1,000 clones. But with all 9 Bijus inside of him, now he can summon about 5,000 clones or even more. He is literally one-man army, or in pony term, one pony army. Naruto has created some weapons in his hidden basement under the house. That Scootaloo didn't know, he has created a lot of weapons with his Raiden, Rumanasufoji, lightning release, luminous forge. Naruto uses this jutsu to heat and melt any metal and then reshape it into anything he desires. He created kunai, shuriken, some armors and a replica of Zabuza's sword, the Kabikirabocho, and of course created Hiraishin kunai too. After all the training for the past year, Naruto is satisfied that he is in pair with Sage of the Sixth Path. Naruto is grinning how powerful he became. He's proud about this accomplishment, and now he has the power to protect his precious people, or ponies. After Naruto made their breakfast, they sat at the table eating their breakfast, talking about Scootaloo's training. So when will I learn the Rasengan? Scootaloo curiously asked Naruto. Naruto raises an eyebrow, looks at her. And why you want learn it so badly? Scootaloo throws her arms in the air. Oh come on. I want learn it. You said your dad created it and became part of the family jutsu. Your godfather knew it, your surrogate brother knew it, by the way, not an official family member, and even another surrogate little brother, so it was passed down. Well, I'm an Uzumaki now, so it's tradition now. Scootaloo crosses her front legs to her chest. Yes, Scootaloo know about Naruto's past, she's the only one who knew. Naruto looks at Scootaloo and sighs. Not until you build up your chakra control. To use that jutsu, it is required to have enough chakra control to form a sphere. We haven't started chakra control exercise yet. Scootaloo sighs in defeat. Fine. But you will teach me, right? Naruto nodded. Of course. Lil sis. Naruto roughed her mane and she giggled. After they ate their breakfast, Scootaloo went upstairs to her room while Naruto cleans up the dishes. Then after cleaning everything up, he moves into the living room and sat on the couch. Naruto saw a familiar book at the coffee table, and smiles at the title of the book that he republished, and co-author of the book is The Tale of the Utterly Gutsy Shinobi, in memory of his late sensei Jiraiya the Toad Sage. The book had grown in popularity in the past year. At the beginning it started slow, but over time more ponies got interested of his book. One time it got sold out in middle of its release. Naruto smiles at his book that it got passed down to ponies, the teaching of his late sensei. Then Naruto smiles and frowns at the same time. He republished and re-edited a different book from his arrow sensei. Naruto face palmed or face hoofed that the book got top ratings in all Equestria. The book is titled Icha Icha Paradise in Equestria. It was popular for lone mares, lone stallions, and couples, and Celestia damned perverts. Naruto didn't know anything about pony body, so he went to the library that's called Golden Oak Library. But it was closed down for years, so he went to Ponyville Hospital to borrow about pony anatomy. Before he continued his training of thought, he hears a knock at the door. Naruto stood up, walks towards the door. He opened and reveals Apple Bloom and Big Macintosh. "Howdy Naruto, is Scootaloo here?" Apple Bloom asked the dark orange stallion. "She's upstairs getting ready for the summer sun celebration." Apple Bloom nodded, then walks towards the stairs. Then Naruto looks at the red stallion. "Yo, Mac, how's the farm?" Big Macintosh gives Naruto the look. "Oh hee hee, still mad about that prank I pull off on you?" Naruto nervously laugh. Yup. Big Mac gives a deadpan at him. Naruto is a big-time prankster in Ponyville along with his partners in crime Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie. They prank the town for a whole week. They can still remember the maple syrup accident. Big Macintosh still have maple syrup inside his ears. "Hi, I'm sorry, you know I'm not the only one who set that up," Naruto apologize. Big Mac looks at Naruto and sigh. "Fine. You know you could help us at the farm. There's a busy event today and a family reunion today too. The Apple family misses you and Scootaloo." When Naruto was still living at their barn, relatives of the Apple family visited the farm for a family reunion. Applejack introduced him to her relatives. They immediately welcomed him with open arms. He had fun with the Apple family. Sometimes they teases him and Applejack asking when is their wedding will be. Of course Naruto and Applejack were flushing. They keep on asking when will they get together. When he brought Scootaloo to the next Apple family reunion, they teased him again about asking if Scootaloo is Naruto and Applejack's foal. Naruto and Applejack got crimson red on their cheeks. Naruto explained she is his adopted little sister. Scootaloo immediately got accepted by the Apple family. Both Naruto and Scootaloo became full-fledged apples. Scootaloo is the first Pegasus in an all-Earth pony family. Naruto gives Big Macintosh an apology look. "Sorry Mac. The mayor asked me to escort this overseer from Canterlot." Big Mac sighed then nodded. "Okay." Both Scootaloo and Apple Bloom rushes down the stairs and towards the door. Scootaloo gives Naruto a pinch on the cheeks. "Later bro. Am hanging out with ma friends." Naruto chuckled. "Okay, be careful out there." Naruto gives Scootaloo a wave of goodbye. Naruto could see Scootaloo fades out in the distance. After saying goodbye to Big Macintosh, he walks through Ponyville to a medium-sized building, painted dark cyan blue with dark purple waves on the left side with music notes on it. On the other side there was a window that showed a few instruments, surrounded by a splash of dark purple. On the top of the store was a record with a scratch on the right side with words on it that said the Wub. Naruto steps inside. There's a young mare seated behind the counter. Just like Rarity, she seemed to have an air of elegance about her. She had black mane that reached her lower back and light purple eyes with a hard gaze. She had a light gray coat and her cutie mark would be a bass clef. "Hello, welcome to the Wub. How can I help you?" The light gray mare greeted the customer who entered the shop. But blinks when she saw a familiar dark orange stallion. "Oh, it's you Naruto, what are you doing here?" Naruto grins. "What, can't I visit my favorite musician Octavia-chan?" Octavia, an Earth pony who have a taste for classical music. Co-owner of the Wub and roommate of Vinyl Scratch, she and Naruto had a rough start, but they got along over time. They're good friends now. Octavia blushes, his favorite musician, before she spoke to the orange stallion. The shop opens and reveals Vinyl Scratch. "Yo OCTY. I'm back," yelled Vinyl, "and I also brought you your lunch." "How many times do I have to tell you to stop calling me that, Vinyl?" "Oh come on OCTY. It's a good nickname and I know you like it," she said as she went into the back, behind the counter, before giving her lunch. "Oh Naruto, you're here. Did you finally come here to ask me for a date?" Vinyl smirked. Naruto blushes, he doesn't have much experience with girls. "Okay, maybe one time with Shion the demon country priestess." "Okay, that's enough, stop teasing the stallion." Octavia got annoyed from Vinyl's flirting. "Aw come on, Tavi. It's all in good fun." Octavia lets out a snort at the unicorn's statement. "I think I'd better get going." Naruto points to his left hoof to the door. "There's somewhere I have to be, and..." The dark orange stallion is cut off as a hoof is placed on his shoulder. "I do hate to be a bother, but I've seen you and Vinyl hang out quite a bit lately, and perhaps you can convince her that her project is a tad unrealistic?" "Hey," the white mare snaps. "Once it's completed, it'll be the best sound system in Equestria." Maybe so, but I've gone over this blueprint a dozen times, and something seems a little off. Octavia turns to Naruto. Could you look over it and try to convince Vinyl here that it just can't be done? The stallion lets out a sigh. Okay. The mare smiles. Splendid, she chimes as she disappears into the house. You're not really taking her side, are you? The white unicorn inquires as she turns to the stallion. Just taking a look. I don't think she'll let me leave until I do. Octavia returns a short time later carrying a clipboard and holds it out towards Sonic. Sorry for the wait, this is all I could find in that disaster of a room of hers. Knock it off, Tavi. Vinyl snaps. The dark orange stallion takes the clipboard from the gray earth pony and begins to flip through its contents. So, the earth pony asks eagerly as she leans towards the stallion. Give me a sec, Naruto replies as he flips through a few more pages. You understand any of it? Vinyl adds as she turns to the blonde stallion. A little bit. I had a friend that was good with stuff like this, Naruto sighs. During his training trip he visited Princess Yuki at Snow Country, or newly named Spring Country. She showed him the inner working of the heat generator that her father created, telling him different wires and circuits. I was hoping that something would have stuck. Naruto turns to the last page on the clipboard and hoofs it back to the gray mare. Well, you were right, this thing won't work. Octavia grins smugly in triumph. I tried to tell you, Vinyl. It was impossible. The stallion holds up his hoof to silence the pony. Now hold on, I didn't say it was impossible. What? Naruto takes the clipboard, turns it to the last page, and hold it front of the now distressed unicorn. This capacitor here, it's the wrong kind. As it is, the base is too high. It's enough to punch a hole into something, like a cannon. You need something? His words are phased out as Vinyl grins and lets out an amused chuckle. Bass like a cannon, she muses. She flips her glasses back down. That gives me an idea. Octavia rolls her eyes. Oh please, don't give her any more ideas. Too late. The white unicorn adds as she rubs her forehooves together. After leaving the wub, Naruto went to town hall to meet with the mayor. Mayor Mare was going over a checklist and instructing ponies for their jobs. No, rarities on decorations. The apples are on food. Desserts are being handled by the cakes. You'd rather not work with Rainbow Dash, though it'd be good for you. That leaves Mayor Mare, the mayor of Ponyville. She has a pale, light grayish amber coat, dark blue eyes and light gray mane and tail. After she gives the ponies their instructed jobs, she lets out a sigh and she saw an orange stallion approaching her. Oh Naruto, you're here. Good, now I'll tell you a little detail to help the inspector who's coming to Ponyville, the gray mane mare said in a professional tone. Naruto, you need to focus on this. You need to try to keep the inspector happy and try to show them that the preparations are almost finished and everything is going smoothly. Applejack seems to be finished already, so that will be your first stop to take them to. Yes, Ms. Mayor, Naruto said, giving a mock salute. You know Naruto, you can just call me May when it's just the two of us. Okay, May, said Naruto, even though your real name is Mare. Well anyways, I better go back to my work, she said as she left towards to the town hall. Naruto waved her goodbye until he remembered something important. Wait May, what does the pony look like? Oh yes, I forgot to mention that, she said thoughtfully. She is a unicorn, she has lavender coat and purple mane in a Heim cut and a purple tail with a pink stripe down the middle of them. Her cutie mark is a pink star undergoing an explosion. Got it, giving her a nice guy pose. May smiled and almost laughed when she saw that ridiculous pose he made. Well, goodbye Naruto, she said with a wave as she walks to the direction of town square. Now what do I do now? I still have. Naruto looked at the Ponyville clock tower and saw that it was already 1:55. An hour left, might as well check on the others and see how they're doing. Few days earlier, we see a lavender unicorn who's laying on the grass, and harmony has been maintained in Equestria for generations since. Said a purple unicorn known as Twilight Sparkle, after finishing the story. Twilight rushed into the library. I know I've heard of the elements of harmony, said Twilight as she hit the ladder, causing her assistant dragon Spike over. Spike was a purple dragon with green eyes and green spikes. He is slightly shorter than Twilight. He is only slightly younger than Twilight, but due to the dragon aging system, he is a baby dragon. Ow! Yelled Spike as he hit the ground. Spike! 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 Spike got up and groaned a little. There you are. Quick, Find me that old copy of Predictions and Prophecies. Twilight then saw Spike with a present. What's that for? Well, it was a gift for Moondancer, but, said Spike frowns as the present was ruined. Oh Spike, you know we don't have time for that sort of thing. But we're on a break, said Spike. Twilight using her levitation spell to gather any books that's related to elements of harmony. No, no, no. No, no, no. Grunts. Spike, said Twilight as she was trying to look for this old book. It's over here, said Spike, but Twilight knocked Spike out of the way and retrieved the book. Ah, elements, elements, E. Aha, elements of harmony, see, Mare in the moon? Mare in the moon? But that's just an old pony's tale. Mare, aha. The Mare in the moon, myth from olden pony times. A powerful pony who wanted to rule Equestria, defeated by the elements of harmony and imprisoned in the moon. Legend has it that on the longest day of the 1000th year, the stars will aid in her escape, and she will bring about nighttime eternal. Twilight gasped, Spike, do you know what this means? No whoa, said Spike as he was knocked down again. Ow, take a letter please, to the princess. Okie dokie. My dearest teacher, my continuing studies of pony magic have led me to discover that we are on the precipice of disaster. Hold on, Pracy, said Spike as he was struggling. Threshold, brink? That something really bad is about to happen. For you see, the mythical Mare in the moon is in fact a nightmare moon, and she's about to return to Equestria, and bring with her the eternal night. Something must be done to make sure this terrible prophecy does not come true. I await your quick response. Your faithful student, Twilight Sparkle. Twilight Sparkle. Got it, said Spike as he finished the letter. Great, send it. Now? Asked Spike. Of course. I dunno, Twilight, Princess Celestia's a little busy getting ready for the summer sun celebration. And it's like, the day after tomorrow. Said a skeptical Spike. That's just it, Spike. The day after tomorrow is the 1000th year of the summer sun celebration. It's imperative that the princess is told right away. Important, shouted Twilight. Whoa, said Spike as he stepped back a little. Okay, said Spike as he breathed fire on the letter to send it to Princess Celestia. There, it's on its way. But I wouldn't hold your breath. Oh, I'm not worried, Spike. The princess trusts me completely. In all the years she has been my mentor, she never once doubted me. Suddenly, Spike belches out the letter and out comes the letter. See? I knew she would want to take immediate action, said Twilight. Spike picks up the letter and after clearing his throat, he starts to read it. Spike using his Princess Celestia's impression. My dearest, most faithful student Twilight. You know that I value your diligence and that I trust you completely. Said Twilight in a gloating tone, but it was short-lived. But you simply must stop reading those dusty old books. Twilight then gasped in disbelief. My dear Twilight, there is more to a young pony's life than studying, so I'm sending you to supervise the preparations for the summer sun celebration in this year's location, Ponyville. Present time. And I have an even more essential task for you to complete. Make some friends, said Spike as he finished the letter. Twilight then sighed that she had to make friends. They were both on a chariot run by 2 royal guards. They were headed to Ponyville on the outskirts of Canterlot. Look on the bright side, Twilight. The princess arranged for you to stay in a library. Doesn't that make you happy? Asked Spike. Yes it does. You know why? Because I'm right. I'll check on the preparations as fast as I can, then get to the library to find some proof of Nightmare Moon's return. Said Twilight. Then, when will you make friends, like the princess said? Said Spike. She said to check on the preparations. I am her student, and I'll do my royal duty, but the fate of Equestria does not rest on me making friends. Unknown to her, 6 ponies would change her life forever. Ponyville. Naruto was walking to Sugar Cube Corner to see if he could get something quick to eat, but he saw that they were going to be at Town Hall to cater the food. Oh man, said Naruto sadly as he really wanted to get some of Pinky's red velvet cupcakes. Might as well head there now. Naruto walked across the road which leads to Town Hall. When he got there he notices that the Town Hall had been decorated. There were long white ribbons with yellow and orange stripes going down the middle, tied to each pillar. 4 big bouquets in vases that held flowers of various kinds were near the entrance of the door with a red carpet coming out from the double doors. Near the top of the building were 3 banners and each one had the sun on it. They really did a great job on the decorations, if Naruto had anything to say about it. He also notices that they were setting up the stadium right next to it as well. Naruto went inside to see if Rarity were in there. When he stepped inside, Naruto was amazed by how it looks on the inside than the outside. There were purple ribbons hanging on the banisters and purple silk banners hanging on each pillar. There were bouquets of white and yellow roses in every corner in sapphire vases. Tied to the banister of the balcony in the front of the room was the same banner that they had outside as well. Naruto saw Rarity and Caramel that was assigned to help the mayor to inspect some of the decorations while moving some things around with Rarity levitation spell. "Hey there Rarity," said Naruto greeting her. "Hello there, Naruto," greets Rarity but was still focused on putting up the decoration. "What are you doing here, Naruto?" Rarity asked to answer her curiosity. "Oh nothing, buying time for now." "Wow, you did an amazing job Rarity." Naruto got amazed of all the decorations. "Ah, thank you Naruto, I really appreciate it," Rarity said, happy to hear Sumponi enjoys her work. "How has your day been Naruto?" said Rarity. "Oh you know, pretty much like everybody else, busy. Well today is a very important day and everybody must be at their best today." "Well I better get going then, what time is it?" "It's..." Before Caramel could tell the time, Naruto looks out at the window so he could see the town clock, 2:55. "Damn, I'm going to be late," said Naruto jumping out of his chair and started to run out the door. "Bye, see y'all later," he yelled as he ran out of the building. "I don't know why you didn't ask him out yet? You had a good opportunity," Caramel asked looking at Rarity. "Oh Caramel, there are many things you should know about mares, and one of those things is that a lady strikes when the mood is right," she said as she focused back to her work. "Really, I wonder how you plan on doing that with all of the competition," he asked before he gets back into his own work. "I'll find a way," she said staring at her work with her mind being occupied by the ponies also wanting to be with Naruto. Up high, coming near Ponyville, was a chariot being pulled by 2 Pegasus wearing golden body armor which covered their whole body, making them look like twins. In the chariot 2 creatures, a little dragon and a unicorn, were having a small argument. "Well, maybe you should listen to the princess, maybe it's a way to help you and she did give you the public library to sleep for the night," said the baby dragon as he reread the scroll. "Spike, how is me checking on preparations and making friends going to help stop Nightmare Moon and save Equestria?" said the girl giving a small huff. "Can you at least try to make some friends, Twilight?" asked Spike as they finally made it to the entrance of Ponyville. "No promises Spike," said Twilight as she and Spike got out of the chariot before looking at the 2 Pegasus guards giving them a smile. "Thank you good sirs for the ride." "You're welcome Madam Sparkle," said one of the guards before they left back to the castle. "Let's get this over with. The faster we finish this the faster we can check for more information on Nightmare Moon," she said as she started walking into town, determined to finish this assignment that her princess gave her. "Wait, Twilight, what is it Spike? Don't you see time is of the essence? It says here that someone is going to come to help guide us around town. I don't have time to wait for them Spy oof." Twilight started to walk until she bumped into Sumponi, and fell flat on her butt. "Are you okay?" said the voice as they helped her get up. "Sorry about that, I was a little distracted trying to look for Sumponi." "Are you by any chance the one the princess asked to check on the preparations?" "Yes, and who are you?" she asked as she looked up to the person she bumped into while dusting her coat. "Hello, my name is Naruto Uzumaki at your service, I'm your guide for the day." Twilight had met her tour guide. He had dark orange coat, blonde spiked mane with 2 horn-like bang and a fox-like tail. The stallion's name is Naruto Uzumaki. She never met any pony with an exotic name like his. She looks at him from top to bottom. She blushes, she thought how handsome the pony is. She stares at him about a minute. Before she continue her train of thought she was interrupted by 2 voices. "Hey Miss Unicorn, you alright? Twilight, you okay?" both Naruto and Spike ask her with a confusing expression. Twilight shook her head. "Yeah, I'm fine." Returning her composure, Twilight extended her hoof to the dark orange stallion waiting for a hoof shake. "Hello. My name is Twilight Sparkle and the dragon here is my assistant Spike," she formally greeted. Naruto just nodded. "Well, welcome to Ponyville Miss Sparkle, I'm your tour guide today. Named Naruto Uzumaki, please just call me Naruto." Naruto smiles at them. Twilight returned her hoof from embarrassment but thought it was okay, then got a tint of pink on her cheeks at that smile. Twilight cough. Well, let's start the tour, shall we? Naruto salute. Yes ma'am, Spike chucked. Maybe ponies in Ponyville got interesting things to talk about, said Spike. Yep, Ponyville got all kinds of interesting things here, Naruto add, and here she come now, both Naruto and the Bijus thought. Seeing Pinkie Pie walking towards them. As Spike convinces Twilight making some friends. Oh come on Twilight, just try. Twilight nervously greets Pinkie Pie, hello. Pinkie gasp and run away, of course. Seeing the new pony in town, she has to prepare a welcome party. Twilight raises an eyebrow. Well, that was interesting all right. As she walked away, Spike lets out a sigh. Naruto chuckled seeing this could be interesting. As they walk on a dirt road, Spike read off the checklist. Summer Sun Celebration Official Overseer's Checklist. Number 1. Banquet Preparations, Sweet Apple Acres. Yeehaw! Yelled an orange mare, rushes towards an apple tree and she kicks it, then all the apples fell down in each bucket. Yo AJ, Naruto greets the orange mare. Howdy there Sugar Cube, what you doing in this part? I thought you weren't joining us till later cause you're escorting some pony, right? Well, I'm here with our inspector right now. Naruto introduces Twilight to Applejack. Twilight then sighed. Well, let's get this over with. Good afternoon. My name is Twilight Sparkle, said Twilight before being interrupted. Hoof shaking the mare in question rapidly. Well, howdy do, Miss Twilight, a pleasure making your acquaintance. Am Applejack. We here at Sweet Apple Acres sure do like making new friends, said Applejack. Friends? Actually, Twilight still hoof shaking, but was stopped by Spike before holding his laughter. Twilight shot a glare at him. Naruto snickered. Well, I am in fact here to supervise preparations for the Summer Sun celebration. And you're in charge of the food? Asked Twilight. We sure as sugar are. Would you care to sample some? As long as it doesn't take too long, said Twilight. After she said that, Applejack rings the bells. Soup's on, every pony, said Applejack. Suddenly, a multitude of ponies emerged seemingly out of nowhere. Now, why don't I introduce y'all to the Apple family? Thanks, but I really need to hurry. Twilight tries to protest but to no avail. Food, Naruto exclaimed before vanishing, leaving only a dusty afterimage of a smiling stallion standing with Big Macintosh. The red-coated stallion chuckled and waved his hoof through the dusty Naruto before trotting towards the main brunch table. Big Mac stopped as a crowd began to form. Apple Crisp walked past him, dropping a cupcake, which he barely managed to catch in his hoof. His family members parted when Applejack pointed in his direction. This here's Apple Fritter, Apple Bumpkin, Red Gala, Red Delicious, Golden Delicious, Caramel Apple, Apple Strudel, Apple Tart, Baked Apples, Apple Brioche, Apple Cinnamon Crisp. She brought in a deep breath and continued. Big Macintosh, Naruto, Apple Bloom, Scootaloo and Granny Smith. Applejack gives an apple to Twilight and stuffs it in her mouth before introducing her to Granny Smith. Up and attempt Granny Smith, we got guests. Applejack said to an old mare. Wah, soup's on? I'm up, here I come. AHM comin', said Granny Smith slowing walking towards the table. Why, I'd say you're already part of the family. After Twilight ate some of the food, she spat it out quickly. She saw Scootaloo and got curious. You're all Earth ponies, but she's a Pegasus? All the Apple family looks each other and say, adopted, and proud of it. Apple family smiles at the orange Pegasus filly who got blushes at her cheeks. Okay, well, I can see the food situation is handled, so we'll be on our way. Twilight Sparkle reacted with a nervous laugh. Despite how appetizing the gathering of food was on the table, Twilight steeled her resolve. I have many things to do, so I really can't stay. The Apple family made an ah of disappointment. Two fillies known as Apple Bloom and Scootaloo walks up to her. Aren't you gonna stay for brunch? Asked both Apple Bloom and Scootaloo as they use puppy dog eyes no jutsu. Sorry, but we've really got to get going and check the rest of the preparations, she said, albeit uncertainly. The Apple family collectively awed and hung their heads. Naruto would have, but he actually wanted to see the outcome of this, seeing as even the little dragon had his head hung in despair. Finally, after a moment of depression and just before Naruto could try to cheer everybody up, Twilight relented. Fine. Let's eat. Yaai. Naruto laughed at the nervous smile that appeared on the new unicorn's face. She was almost as good for a laugh as Pinky was. Alright, main food supply, check, listed the little dragon as he walked ahead of a slightly sick Twilight Sparkle. Naruto trotted alongside the mare. I ate too much pie, said Twilight grown with a full belly. Too much pie? Naruto asked out of amusement, chuckling when he got a groan in response from the unicorn. Yeah, Granny's pies are the best. But ramen's still food of God, said Naruto while praying to the ramen god for his beloved ramen. Twilight tuned the stallion out and focused on her assistant. What's next, Spike? There's supposed to be a Pegasus pony named Rainbow Dash clearing the clouds, said Spike. Twilight and Naruto looked up and saw clouds still in the skies. A sigh escaped Naruto's lips. Rainbow is, well, she's a rather interesting character. She can be a bit difficult to get along with if you don't know her, but she's a good pony at heart. Well, she's not doing a very good job, is she? Said Twilight. Naruto stopped and ducked suddenly, just in time for a blue blur to shoot over his head and slams into Twilight's side. He stood up and laughed when he saw Rainbow Dash and Twilight Sparkle coated in mud. Spike joins in. Somehow he thought seeing two mares wrestling in the mud seems to turn him on. Naruto shook his head and putting that thought back at his mind. Sup? Rainbow, don't tell me you still haven't perfected that trick by now. The blonde looked at the cyan Pegasus expecting a reply in the form of, nope, I was just testing out the landing for my newest trick, that neither of you have seen before. But all he received was a nod in the form of a yes. So I can't tell Scootaloo about your recent failings then. He got another nod. Both knew the little filly looks up to her, and it was apparent when she usually asked Naruto to spend time with her watching the cyan mare practice her tricks when Naruto watched over the two fillies. He watched as Rainbow Dash picked herself off the ground and slightly laughed at the fallen unicorn's plight. Excuse me? Said the Pegasus as she starts to laugh again. Sorry, I was aiming for him, didn't see you next to Naruto, Rainbow Dash apologized with a giggle. Naruto sat on his haunches and tilted his head forward, just as Scootaloo approaches on her scooter. Unable to stop, the young filly unintentionally used her brother's back as a ramp and impacted with Rainbow Dash, the two of them falling further into the mud puddle. Whoa! Spike exclaimed in awe, how'd you know that filly was coming? Naruto started with a wider smirk, I'm just that awesome. The Bijus got another answer for the little dragon inside Naruto's mindscape, it a ninja thing. The stallion then looked at the frowning filly as she pulled her scooter out of the puddle. He sighed and approaches her, wrapping his tail around the handles and spinning the scooter at a rapid speed, flinging mud into the air. One bit struck Spike in the face and sent him to his back, as did one to Rainbow Dash. When he was certain the scooter was clean, Naruto set it back down in front of Scootaloo. The young filly beamed up at him, thanks Naruto. Yeah, Naruto replied with a nod, now go home and wash up. I'll be back before the celebration starts. Okay, bye Rainbow Dash, sorry about the mud. Bye new pony, bye lizard guy. Scootaloo replied before getting on her scooter and zipping away towards their house. Naruto chuckled before looking at Twilight when Rainbow Dash suddenly pulled a full raincloud over her. Oops, sorry, Rainbow apologizes when she noticed the glare she was receiving from the drenched unicorn. I'll give you my patented rain blow dry. Oh Celestia, Naruto groaned out as he put his hoof on his forehead. As the rainbow tornado created to dry Twilight off quickly built up and then faded, revealing a puffy mane and tail. With these new styles, Rainbow Dash and Spike quickly found themselves laughing aloud on their back. Also Naruto couldn't help but to laugh at Twilight's new look. Twilight glares all three of them before looking at Rainbow Dash. Let me guess. You're Rainbow Dash, said an annoyed Twilight. The one and only. Why, you heard of me. Rainbow Dash proudly boasted. I heard you were supposed to be keeping the skies clear, said Twilight. She then sighed and continued speaking. I'm Twilight Sparkle, and the princess sent me to check on the weather. Yeah, that'll be a snap. I'll do it in a jiffy. Just as soon as I'm done practicing. Rainbow Dash as she sat on a cloud. Practicing for what? Asked Twilight. Before Rainbow Dash answers, Naruto beat her to the punch. Wonderbolts, it's her dream, as Naruto closes his eyes as his remembering his dream to become a Hokage then spoke again. Her dream is to be a Wonderbolt. The Wonderbolts? The most talented flyers in Equestria, Twilight questioned. She didn't have an interest in such sport events, but she at least knew of them by reputation. It was nearly impossible not to at least know about them. That's them, and they're gonna perform at the celebration tomorrow, and I'm gonna show 'em my stuff. Rainbow gushed. Twilight let out a snort. Peeved. Please. They'd never accept a Pegasus who can't even keep the sky clear for one measly day. She challenged the Pegasus. Naruto glares a bit at the lavender mare who insulted his friend's dream. He's a little sensitive about ponies making fun of other ponies' dreams. Hey, I could clear this sky in 10 seconds flat. Rainbow proudly boasted. With a smirk on her face, Twilight decided to challenge her. Prove it. As Rainbow Dash hears that challenge, Rainbow Dash skyrockets into the sky with impressive speed and agility, clearing all the clouds. Loop the loop around, and wham. What did I say? Said Rainbow Dash as she cleared the entire sky. 10 seconds. Flat. I'd never leave Ponyville hanging. Suddenly, the sound of sheep goes, baa, nearby. Twilight and Spike was speechless at the amazing talent Rainbow did. Naruto smirked at the two faces. You should see the look on your face. Ha, you're a laugh, Twilight sparkle. I can't wait to hang out some more. Before Rainbow Dash flew off, she looks at Naruto. If you're ready for me to whip your tail in a race again, Naruto, I'll take you on anytime. Of course Naruto is faster than Rainbow Dash if he use Hiraishin no Jutsu, but he should beat Rainbow without using his jutsu. Hey, try me again without flying and we'll see who excels with speed. Naruto challenges with a determined grin. Rainbow smirked. Always loved to race with Naruto. He is the only one who could give her a challenge. Then she flew off to the sky. Wow, she's amazing, said Spike as he starts laughing at Twilight's mane. It kind of pretty when you get used to it. Twilight grumbled as she walked away towards their next location. Naruto chuckled following the puffy mare. The decorations for the celebration. Spike replied with a smile as he hopped onto Naruto's back. Whoa. I get a much better view on your back, Mr. Uzumaki. Must be because you're so tall. Kid, just call me Naruto, the stallion replied with a chuckle. Okay, Naruto, Spike said before furrowing his brow. Hey, why's your name so, weird? Naruto supplied before eyeing the equally curious Twilight. With a smile he shrugged as he trotted. Well, it's because I'm not from Ponyville. In fact, I'm not from Equestria either. I came from far east outside of Equestria. We have different customs, names being one of them, and festivals being another. I'm still trying to remember Ponyville's most important holidays, though I wasn't good with that sort of thing anyway. Naruto lied. Of course he wouldn't tell them he's from another world. If you're wondering about what my name means, it's mean maelstrom, said Naruto, and he also adds, it's not fish cake. Sometimes my name means that. Both Twilight and Spike giggles. Naruto glares at them both. Whoa, so you're like, from Cloudsdale? Wrong direction, Spike, Twilight informed the baby dragon, and he's an earth pony. It'd be hard for him to live in Cloudsdale. I think he means Griffin Empire. If you look at Equestria's map, Griffin Empire is at east of Equestria. Wrong, Naruto replied with a buzz. I'd love to continue talking about my past, but we're here. The two newcomers to Ponyville looked at the decorated town square, Spike being the first to vocalize his thoughts. Wow, so beautiful. Yes, the decor is coming along nicely. This ought to be quick. I'll be at the library in no time. Beautiful indeed, said Twilight as she observes the surroundings. What decorations? I'm talking about her, Spike replied as hearts grew in his eyes. Naruto and Twilight followed his gaze before landing on a white-coated unicorn. Naruto chuckled while the other unicorn rolled her eyes in disbelief. No. Far too green. No, Rarity dismissed color after color, not noticing the approaching ponies. How are my spines? Are they straight? Asked Spike. Good afternoon, Twilight pried, as she trotted forward. But she was cut off. Just a moment, I'm in the zone, as it were, Rarity said before looking back at the fabric floating around her, gasping in glee when a shiny red ribbon. Yes. Rarity, you're a genius. Sparkle red is perfect. Now, what may I owe? Naruto, hello. I wasn't expecting you for a while. Twilight arched a brow and looked at the orange stallion, who seemed to be oblivious to the white unicorn's blush. She's kinda jealous, she doesn't know why. Yeah, well, I'm with our inspector here, Naruto replied as he pointing at Twilight. Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Rarity. Rarity introduces herself before looking at Twilight, and you worry. My word, what happened to your mane? She met Rainbow Dash, Naruto supplied helpfully, before Twilight could speak, got a rainbow dry. Rarity tisked in pity, oh you poor thing. Honestly, that mare acts more like a filly each day. Come with me, I'll get you all fixed up. But you too, Naruto. That rat's nest you call a mane needs to be brushed. And don't try and back out of it. I've already finished hanging the rest of the decorations. Rarity cut off Twilight's attempt to escape with a stern order. Naruto frowned and ran his hoof over his mane. It's not that bad, muttered the stallion as he trailed behind the two mares and the lovesick dragon. At Carousel Boutique, Rarity is still dressing up Twilight like a doll. Now, you are telling me more about yourself, Rarity said as she tightened a dress that she had shoved on Twilight. Naruto, his mane somewhat brushed, sat off to the side with Spike. Wow, she's amazing. I've never seen any pony shove a dress onto Twilight so fast, Spike gushed. Naruto chuckled. Yeah, she is, she one of the best, said Naruto. I've been sent from Canterlot to, Twilight said in a strained voice before Rarity lost her grip, sending Twilight flying. Huh? Canterlot? Oh, I am so envious. The glamour, the sophistication. I have always dreamed of living there. I can't wait to hear all about it. We are gonna be the best of friends, you and I. Emeralds? What was I thinking? Let me get you some rubies, said Rarity as she went to find some more jewels. Quick, before she decides to dye my coat a new color, Twilight said to Spike as they decided to flee before Rarity got back. Spike then sighed as he was stuck in love-struck mode again, so Naruto just dragged him. In the outskirts of town, Naruto, Twilight and Spike, who is sitting on Naruto's back, are walking at a dirt road going to their next location. Wasn't she wonderful? Said Spike, asking both Naruto and Twilight while he's still in love-struck mode. Naruto chuckled at the love-struck dragon. He had to admit Rarity is quit looker. He didn't expect a pony could be attractive, but he's pony now, so it makes sense, right? When did he start seeing the mares in his life attractive? Focus Casanovas. What's next on the list? Said Twilight. Oh, music. It's the last one, said Spike. Suddenly, everyone hears birds singing nearby. That would be Fluttershy. Naruto saw Fluttershy teaching her birds to play some songs as she sang with them. Naruto couldn't help but be enchanted by her voice. Naruto always loved listening to her sing. Her voice always seemed to calm him down. Oh my. Stop please. Everyone, the mayor said as she stopped the rehearsal. Excuse me, sir? I mean, no offense, but your rhythm is just a teeny tiny bit off. The Blue Jay nodded. Now, follow me, please. A1, A2, A1, 2, 3. Before they could start, Naruto interrupted. Hey there, Fluttershy, said Naruto, breaking her melody as well as scaring her. The bird didn't flew away because they know Naruto very well. Every animal knows about Naruto. They always feel calm, peaceful and in harmony around him. They don't call him a sage for nothing. Fluttershy lets out a loud eep as her wings retracted. Fluttershy closes her eyes, preparing for the impact as she fell. Then she felt something catch her. She opened her eyes and saw Naruto holding her. Fluttershy blushed so hard that she could put a tomato to shame by her blush. Sorry about that, Fluttershy, I didn't mean to scare you, he said with a smile but with a hint of concern in his voice. Okay Naruto, you just startled me, stuttered Fluttershy quietly. Suddenly Twilight greets Fluttershy, but it was a bit loud. Hello. This time the birds flew away. Oh my, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to frighten your birds. I'm just here to check up on the music and it's sounding beautiful. The mare did not respond even when she was close to Naruto. I'm Twilight Sparkle. Still no response. So your name is Fluttershy? Asked Twilight with a nervous smile. Naruto encourages the Pegasus mare, go on. You don't have to be shy. Fluttershy looks at Naruto and nodded. Yes, I'm Fluttershy, said Fluttershy in a meek voice. I'm sorry, what was that? Asked Twilight. My name is Fluttershy, Fluttershy said in an even quieter voice. Didn't quite catch that, said Twilight. Fluttershy then made a squeaking sound as her mane covered one of her eyes. Everyone was quiet. Well, it looks like your birds are back, so I guess everything's in order. Keep up the good work. Fluttershy then made another squeaking sound. Yes, her name is Fluttershy. She's a little shy hee, said Naruto while scratching the back of his mane. You don't say, Twilight said in a sarcastic tone. Okay, Twilight said both Naruto and Fluttershy. Well, that was easy. As she walked back to Spike, Fluttershy looked through her mane to see a baby dragon. A baby dragon, shouted Fluttershy as she rushes towards to Spike and knock Twilight away. Oh, I've never seen a baby dragon before. He's so cute. Fluttershy changed another behavior and Spike boosted pride. Well, said Spike as he felt like he was really important. Oh my, he talks. I didn't know dragons could talk. That's just so incredibly wonderful. I just don't even know what to say, said Fluttershy as she was amazed that Spike could speak. Well, in that case we'd better be going, said Twilight. Wait, what's his name? Fluttershy asked Twilight. I'm Spike, said Spike. Hi Spike, I'm Fluttershy. Wow, a talking dragon. And what do dragons talk about? Said Fluttershy. Well, what do you want to know? Asked Spike. Absolutely everything, said Fluttershy. Before Spike starts to talk about his life story, Naruto interrupted. Fluttershy, I don't think they have time cause they still need to check the other preparation for Summer Sun celebration. Twilight gives him a thank you look. Fluttershy folds her ears down, got all depressed not hearing about dragons. Naruto feels bad for Fluttershy. Maybe next time Fluttershy, me and Spike will come visit after the celebration is over, right Spike? Spike nodded. Fluttershy is slightly happy for that. Thank you Naruto. She said gratefully he will visit her soon. Not that I mind you visiting me. I love seeing you, I mean I love it when you visit me, I am mean, said Fluttershy, stuttering while her blush made a second comeback. Naruto gave a small chuckle seeing as Fluttershy was becoming a stuttering mess. He always did love teasing Fluttershy because he found it really cute when she blushed. He was tempted to tease her some more, but it seemed like she already had enough, as if the increasing blush was any kind of indicator. But he didn't know that the more he teased Fluttershy, the more Fluttershy wants to snag him, lock him in her bedroom, and no one will ever hear from him again. Fluttershy calms down. I know what you meant, now take some deep breath, said Naruto, trying to calm her. Thankfully Fluttershy started to calm down as she took some deep breaths. Sorry Naruto and thank you, said Fluttershy quietly, as she finished taking some deep breaths. Don't worry about it and you're welcome, said Naruto, giving her a big grin. Anyway, I just came by to check on you and the girls and see how things were going, but things seems to be going fine in your area. Oh thank you, me and my little critter friends are working really hard. Well, I'm going to check on the others and let you work with your little friends, see ya, said Naruto as he started to walk away as he saw her bird friends come back. Naruto, wait, Fluttershy called out to him. Fluttershy fidgeted a bit, blushing from her head to her neck. WWYYU. Fluttershy took a deep breath. Will I see you at town hall? Yep, said Naruto, giving her his infamous good guy pose. Twilight interrupted the blue eyes ponies. Okay. Let's get going then. Twilight grit her teeth, got a little annoyed by the two ponies' interaction. Naruto nodded and waved goodbye to Fluttershy. Fluttershy stood there giggling, watching him leave, giving a defeated sigh. She turned around and saw her critter friends giving her deadpan stares. How they were able to do it without eyebrows she did not know. I know, I should have told him, but I was scared. One of her birds, a robin, got in her face and started to give a series of chirps. But what if he said no and doesn't want to be my friend anymore? I don't think I can handle that kind of rejection. The robin gave another series chirps, which made Fluttershy give a small sigh. Yes, you're right. He wouldn't do something like that even if he didn't share the same feelings, she said as she looked to where Naruto left, watching him disappear through the thick trees that leads to town. Naruto, Twilight and Spike, who's riding on Naruto back, walking through Ponyville to a familiar treehouse library. So you gonna live here now, huh? Naruto asked the tiresome unicorn. Yes, I'm living here in order of Princess Celestia, said Twilight. Well, it's good to have a new pony in town, we should hang out sometime, Naruto said with a smile. Yes, hang out. Twilight blushes with nervously laugh. Well, goodbye, as Twilight drags Spike inside the house library. Naruto goes through an open window for Twilight's surprise party. Using his chakra enhance his hearing to hear Twilight mumble to Spike. Rude much, said Spike, giving her disappointed look. Sorry, Spike, But I have to convince the princess that Nightmare Moon is coming, and we're running out of time. I just need to be alone so I can study without a bunch of crazy ponies trying to make friends all the time. Now, where's the light? Naruto frowns at Twilight, who didn't once be friends with any pony. Before he raised an eyebrow about this Nightmare Moon, before he could continue his thought, the light turns on every ponies in the room shouting. Surprise! Twilight grasped before letting out a sigh. She has to deal with some crazy ponies again. Speaking of crazy pony, Pinkie Pie appeared out nowhere in front of Twilight. Surprise! Hi, I'm Pinkie Pie, and I threw this party just for all of you. Were you surprised? Were ya? Ha ha ha, said Pinkie Pie in a blaze of questions. Very surprised. Libraries are supposed to be quiet, said Twilight. Well, that's silly. What kind of welcome party would this be if it were quiet? I mean, duh, Borain. Wisey, I saw you when you first got here, remember? You were all, hello, and I was all, deep gasp, remember? Wisey, I've never saw you before, and if I've never saw you before that means you're new, 'cause I know every pony. And I mean every pony in Ponyville, said Pinkie in a bigger blaze of words. Twilight just groaned as she just wanted the night for herself. And if you're new, that means you haven't met anyone yet, and if you haven't met anyone yet, you must not have any friends, and if you don't have any friends then you must be lonely, and that made me so sad. Then I had an idea, and that's why I went, deep gasp. I must throw a great big ginormous super duper spectacular welcome party and invite everyone in Ponyville, see? And now you have lots and lots of friends, said Pinkie Pie while Twilight ate some of the cupcakes. While Naruto saw what Twilight ate, his eyes went wide and mumble, oh. Suddenly, Twilight's face turns red. The sound of a kettle whistling was heard. Are you all right, Sugarcube? Applejack asked the lavender unicorn. Suddenly Twilight's mane and tail burst into flames. Twilight ran for her room while Spike looks at the bottle near the cupcake and read, hot sauce. Then Pinkie pours some hot sauce on the cupcake and ate it. It's good. Naruto gives her a deadpan look and lets out a sigh. Then Naruto smiles at the pink mare. She is who she is. While Shukaku got another comment at the pink mare inside Naruto's mindscape. I said it once and said again that mare is crazy. Tilda other Bijus nodded to agreement. Some time had passed as the party continued on. Twilight was groaning in her bed as she heard the party going on downstairs. She didn't want to interact with anyone. Hey Twilight, they're starting to play pin the tail on the pony. Wanna play? Spike asked. No, all the ponies in this town are crazy. Do you know what time it is? The aggravated unicorn demanded. It's the eve of the summer sun celebration. Every pony has to stay up, or they'll miss the princess raise the sun. You really should lighten up, Twilight. It's a party, Spike said as he left the room. Twilight mocked his words after he left. Here I thought I'd have time to learn about the elements of harmony, but, silly me, all this ridiculous friend-making has kept me from it. Twilight looks out of her window and saw 4 stars moving towards the moon, which had a symbol that strongly resembled the face of Nightmare Moon. Legend has it that on the longest day of the 1000th year, the stars will aid in her escape, and she will bring about everlasting night. I hope the princess was right. I hope it really is just an old ponytail, said Twilight until she heard a familiar voice. How long are you going to hide up here? Naruto asked as he entered the room. Twilight was surprised that the pony was up here instead of partying with her friends. You know, making friends is not hard than it look. Look, I don't have time for friends, said Twilight in an angry tone. Naruto lets out a sigh. Let me tell you a story. It about a colt who was all alone in world, no family and no friends. Twilight listens to the story. Naruto continues. The little colt was just normal pony like you and me who lives in a village, but he was hated by the villagers for his existence. Twilight gasped why the little colt got hated. They hated him so much they kept beating up the foal every inch of his life. Twilight gasped again and tears running down to her cheeks. They ignored him all his life. The little colt tries to figure out why he was hated. He tries to make friends but all the children just plainly ignores him and avoiding him as possible. Twilight tears kept running down. Why would any pony be treated that way? The befuddled unicorn asked. She couldn't imagine any pony being treated like they were unwanted. A part of her wanted to reject what the stallion was saying as such things didn't happen, but the conviction in his eyes supported that he wasn't lying. Naruto continues with his story. The little colt almost gave up making friends in life. Twilight gasped. But he was told about bonds. Naruto smiles sadly remembering his first time he met Sasuke and the first bond with his teacher Iruka Unimo. Flashback. Naruto playing at the playground with Konoha's children, but when the parents of the children that Naruto was playing called them for dinner they whispered to their children to don't come near him. "What do you think you're doing? I told you don't play with that boy. Oh come on let's go, don't get near that boy understand me?" "Okay, Mom." As they left the playground Naruto frowns from all their whispers. All alone, no parents to take him home for supper. As Naruto gone home to his empty and loveless apartment he saw a boy with black hair that looks like a duck ass and he was wearing a blue t-shirt with a fan on its back by the lake staring at the distance. Naruto stares at the boy while walking. The boy notices it and stares back. Both Naruto and the boy got an annoyed look on their faces and stares at each other. Naruto huffs and looks away, so did the boy. Naruto keeps walking back to his apartment. The day of Genin exam, Naruto failed to do a Bunshin no Jutsu. Naruto was told that he'll have to get a makeup test by a chunin named Mizuki who told him how to graduate is to steal a forbidden scroll from the Hokage vault. As Naruto was found by Iruka, Naruto tells him about the makeup test that Mizuki told him. Iruka's eyes went wide. Why would Mizuki do this? Suddenly a cluster of kunai aims at both Naruto and Iruka. Iruka pushes Naruto away from the cluster of kunai. Iruka got hit against the wooded wall. Mizuki appeared with two giant shuriken at his back. "Naruto, give me the scroll," said Mizuki. "Huh? What? What's going on?" said a confused Naruto. "Naruto, whatever happens, don't give him the scroll." Iruka yells at Naruto while getting all the kunai off of him. "That's a dangerous scroll that has forbidden jutsu written inside it. Mizuki used you to get his hand on it." Naruto was shocked that he was stealing a forbidden scroll. "Naruto, there's no point in having it." Mizuki smirked evilly. "I'll tell you the truth." Iruka's eyes went wide and fills with rage. No don't. 12 years ago, you know about the demon fox being sealed, right? Since that day, a special rule was created for this village. Naruto got worried. What does this have to do about the demon fox? What rule? But this rule was never meant to be told to you. What is this rule? Tell me, Naruto shouts. Mizuki laughs at the boy's stupidity. What kind of rule? The rule is that nobody is allowed to talk about the fact that you are the nine-tailed demon fox. Naruto's eyes went wide open from hearing what Mizuki said. What? What do you mean? Naruto was confused and frightened. Stop it, Iruka shouts. But Mizuki got a huge evil smile. It mean that you are the nine-tailed demon fox that killed Iruka's parents and destroyed the village. You were sealed up by the Hokage you admire and… Stop it, Iruka shouts again, but Mizuki continues to destroy Naruto's spirit. You have been lied to by everyone. Didn't you find it odd how everyone hates you? As he continues his tale about Naruto being the nine tails, he throws a giant shuriken at Naruto. Iruka is the same. He also hates you. Nobody will ever love you. That scroll was used to seal you up. As Naruto closes his eyes waiting for his life to end, but he feels no pain, he opens his eyes and saw Iruka being stabbed by the giant shuriken on his back so he could protect him. Naruto asked, why? My parents, after they died I was a nobody too. No one complimented or acknowledged me. I always acted like an idiot just to get people's attention. Since I wasn't good in things like learning and making homework, it was better than being nothing, so I kept acting like an idiot. It was painful. Naruto, you also must have a lot of pain. Iruka cries for Naruto for all the pain for being alone. I'm sorry Naruto, if I only did a better job, you wouldn't have to feel like this. Naruto doesn't know what to do. The only thing he thought about is to run. Run as far from anyone. From all the people in Konoha who hated him with all of their hearts. As Naruto runs away, Mizuki laughs at Iruka. He Naruto isn't the type of person to have a change of heart, and I think he's planning to use the scroll to get revenge. You saw those eyes earlier, the eyes of a real demon. Naruto isn't like that. Iruka yells at Mizuki, but Mizuki continues his rant. There's no way that Demon Fox wouldn't try to use the power of the scroll. Unlike what you're assuming. Yeah, while Mizuki keeps talking about Naruto being the Demon Fox, Naruto didn't run away. He was hiding behind a tree near both Iruka and Mizuki after hearing Iruka truly hated him. I knew it. See, even Iruka-sensei deep down doesn't acknowledge me. Then Iruka told Mizuki, the demon fox would do that, but Naruto is different, he is. I've acknowledged him as one of my excellent students. Naruto was shocked that someone acknowledged him. He may not be the hardest worker, and he is clumsy and no one accepts him. He already knows what it is to feel pain inside your heart. He isn't the demon fox. He is a member of the Hidden Leaf Village. He's Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto cries his eyes out hearing that finally someone acknowledges him, that someone noticed him and that someone loves him. As Mizuki got fed up by Iruka acknowledging the demon brat, he throws the giant shuriken at him. He got knee-kicked at the face by Naruto. You shouldn't have done that, Mizuki said with venom in his mouth. Don't touch Iruka-sensei, I'll kill you, Naruto shouts at Mizuki. You idiot, why did you come out? Run away, Iruka yells. Haha, I'll kill someone like you in one shot, Mizuki gloatingly said. Try it, trash. I'll return the pain 1,000 times over, Naruto yells at the bad sensei. Then do it, demon fox. Mizuki challenges Naruto. Kage Bunshin no Justsu. Naruto summoned about 1,000 clones and brutally beats Mizuki every inch of his life. Naruto scratches the back of his head, hee. I went a little too far, Naruto nervously laughs. Naruto, come over here, there's something I want to give you, Iruka calls Naruto over. Naruto, close your eyes. Now sensei? Okay, you can open your eyes now. Congratulations on graduating, let's celebrate. I'll buy you a cup of ramen. Naruto tackled Iruka while crying with joy that his first bond has been forged. Flashback end. Naruto shears in tears from those memories and lost track of his surroundings. He didn't notice that Twilight keeps calling his name. Naruto? Naruto. Naruto returned to reality seeing Twilight staring at him with tears running down her cheeks. Naruto shook his head. Sorry I got lost there. Naruto looks at Twilight giving her a smile. Remember what I told you, Twilight bonds can gives you what you really need. As Naruto about to leave, Spike came back into the room. Come on. Guys, it's time to watch the sunrise. Naruto nodded, looks back at Twilight. Remember, we're your friends, we will help you with any problems that you're facing. Naruto leaves the room giving Twilight to think what Naruto told her. All of the citizens entered the town hall to prepare for Princess Celestia's appearance. You sure you'll be able to stay up for this, Scoot? Naruto asks his sister as the little filly rode on his back towards the town square. Scootaloo scowled and sat up on his back. I'm gonna be fine, the filly stubbornly replied before yawning. Naruto looks back at her smugly, getting a deeper scowl from the filly. I'm not tired, Scootaloo stubbornly reiterated, I was just practicing. Really? The blonde stallion asked with an arched brow, and what were you practicing for, may I ask? Yeah, that's what I thought. Naruto chuckled out when his sister was unable to come up with a good reply. The filly huffed and crossed her forelegs with a pout on her face. She brightened up when Big Macintosh slowly comes up to Naruto's side, Applebloom and Sweetie Belle on his back. Hi Scootaloo, her two friends greeted her, to which she eagerly responded. The fillies soon fell into a calm conversation, leaving the two stallions free to talk without eavesdroppers. So, this thing is to celebrate Princess Celestia's sun rising, right? Naruto asked his friend. Big Mac nodded and shifted his sprig, up. Naruto seeing an opportunity to a prank, he slightly bucked, making Scootaloo cry out in surprise while she tried to hold on to his mane. The stallion returned into a full upright stance and looked over at the glowering filly. Naruto gave her an innocent smile. Sorry, thought something crawled up my hind leg. Meanie, complained the filly before she looked at her friends. See what I had to deal with. Sweetie Belle and Applebloom giggled tiredly, both trying to hide their own exhaustion. The three had been discussing their elder siblings and had been quietly arguing over whose was the worst. Sweetie Belle claimed it was Rarity due to her stuffiness. Applebloom claimed Applejack had the victory in the bag because she was stubborn at times and bossy at others. And Scootaloo said Naruto was the only reasonable choice because of his more mischievous side. You love me for it. Naruto dismissed his complaining sister. Suddenly Pinky appears out of nowhere. Naruto jumps in shock, consequently jostling Scootaloo, before he rounded on the pink pony. Isn't this exciting? Are you excited? 'Cause I'm excited. I've never been so excited, well, except for the time that I saw you walking into town and I went, deep gasp. But I mean really, who can top that? Asked Pinkie Pie excitedly. Damn it, Pinky, don't do that. The rustic orange stallion yells at the frowns mare. Scowling, Naruto then looked over his shoulder at his passenger. You okay, Scoot? How did she sneak behind me without me sensing her? Uh-huh, replied a shaking filly, her forelegs pressed tightly against his shoulders in an effort to hold on. Naruto gave her an apologetic look before looking back at the party pony. Ops, sorry, Pinky apologized. Naruto gives out a sigh looking at the pink mare. It's okay, Pinky, you didn't mean it. Naruto petted the pink mare who got red each cheeks looking away from the orange stallion. Before Naruto talked to the party pony, the mayor announced the ceremony. Fillies and gentle colts, as mayor of Ponyville, it is my great pleasure to announce the beginning of the summer sun celebration, said Mayor Mare as she starts the ceremony. All of the ponies started to cheer. In just a few moments, our town will witness the magic of the sunrise, and celebrate this, as the longest day of the year. Twilight looks outside to see the stars move behind the moon and the symbol on the moon disappears. Twilight starts to grow nervous. And now, it is my great honor to introduce to you the ruler of our land, the very pony who gives us the sun and the moon each and every day, the good, the wise, the bringer of harmony to all of Equestria. Ready? Fluttershy asked her birds. The birds then began their song. Princess Celestia, said the mayor, but the princess was not there. Huh? Said Rarity in shock. The ponies were whispering nervously. This doesn't feel right, Naruto thought. Remain calm, every pony, there must be a reasonable explanation, said Mayor Mare. This can't be good, Twilight muttered to herself. Naruto silently agreed with the mayor, holding a smirk back as Pinky tried to keep every pony calm and in good spirits when Rarity came back out. No sign of a royal alicorn princess behind her. Naruto's hidden smirk became a deep scowl when he saw something starts to appear behind Rarity. Well, Naruto said, loud enough to get the others' attention, shit. Before any pony could scold the stallion for his language, a large light navy blue cloud resembling the night skies swirled up and became a tall alicorn, similar to Celestia, but much darker in color. Her mane was that of the cloud before her and the color of her pitch black coat and wings. Her armor on her head and chest has a lighter shade of her mane, head and hooves, but it was the symbol that got Naruto's attention, a white crescent moon. Icy blue-green eyes with slitted pupils gazes over the crowd before they shut. Then the strange alicorn stretches her wings out. Ah, it feels good to get out and stretch one's wings after a 1,000-year nap, joked the alicorn to herself before addressing the crowd of stunned and horrified ponies. Oh, my precious subjects. I've missed you. It's been far, far too long. Naruto glances over at where he last saw Big Mac, and eyed the fillies hiding behind his hind legs. His eyes narrowed and steam shot from his nostrils when he saw Scootaloo, Applebloom and Sweetie Belle shaking. The stallion tenses and waited before he acted. He needed the right excuse to strike. For all he knew, this was part of the ceremony. What? She asked in a regal, yet somewhat cruel, voice. Has it been so long that my own subjects don't recognize me? What did you do with our princess? Rainbow Dash demanded, before trying to rush at the strange alicorn. Applejack quickly stopped their friend by biting down on her tail. Pinkie Pie started to guess the stranger's name, only to be silenced when a large apple was shoved in her mouth. Am I not familiar to any of you? Has my imprisonment hindered your memories of the legacy of the crown? The alicorn asked as she hovered over a frightened Fluttershy before going to a petrified Rarity as she continued. Do none of you know the legend? Has no pony seen the signs? I did, Twilight Sparkle announced, just before Naruto would rush at the strange alicorn. His tail brushed over his hind leg and a hidden marking glowed, unseen as every other pony focused on Twilight. I know who you are, Twilight continued. You're the Mare and the Moon, Nightmare Moon. The gathered ponies gasped in fear while Nightmare Moon smirked. Well. Some pony remembers me. But do you know why I'm here? You're here too. Remember this day, little ponies, for it was your last. From this moment forth, the night will last forever, said Nightmare Moon as lightning starts to fill the air. Last time Twilight discovered that Nightmare Moon will escape from the moon in the longest day of the 1,000th year. She has informed Princess Celestia but got assigned to Ponyville to check the preparation for the summer sun celebration, and the princess also assigned her to make some friends. as she did met all kinds of different ponies, but she didn't want to make some friends. Now, Nightmare Moon has escaped and declared everlasting night to the world. Twilight swallowed and slowly stepped back. Nightmare Moon opened her mouth to speak, when something flew past her head. Dismissing it, the tall alicorn scanned the crowd before a three-blades-like dagger aimed at her. She smirked, so she dodged the dagger. But a yellow flash in her peripheral vision warned her of something appearing behind her. Naruto's snarl, causing Nightmare Moon's head to whip around and look at him. Just in time for a hoof to slam into her jaw. Nightmare Moon slid backwards, to stop her slip by opening her wings. Careful Naruto, this Mare is powerful. She is in pair with the Shodai Hokage, Kurama warns him in his mindscape. Humph, bold little foal, aren't you? The dark alicorn muttered as blood leaking out from her mouth. She wiped her mouth with the side of her right foreleg. Naruto dropped to the ground as his tail went through the hoop at the end of his dagger. This pony's radiant power is very interesting, the dark alicorn thought. She got interested to the dark orange stallion. There ain't anything little about me, princess, growled out the dark orange stallion. He summoned 5 clones to surround the dark alicorn, ready to attack at any given moment. Every pony in the room got shock except for Scootaloo, that Naruto could use magic without a horn. The dark alicorn got really interested at the stallion. You're a very interesting pony, you can use magic without a horn, and that your radiant power could rival my sister. Every pony gasped, especially Twilight, that Naruto is in pair with Princess Celestia's power. No, I didn't use magic. I used jutsu, Naruto corrected her. I love to give you more info, but a shinobi never reveals everything. Before they could charge at each other, Mayor Mare interrupted them. Seize her. She has information on the whereabouts of our princess. The mayor ordered as several Pegasi guards flew into action. No, wait, Naruto shouted at the guards before they injure themselves. But it was too late. They earned a sneer from the alicorn before her eyes shined a bright white. Foals, she exclaimed as a shield made from lightning shot out around her. Naruto and the Pegasi guards were sent flying back. The orange earth pony is being sent through the walls of the town hall. Naruto. Both Rarity and Fluttershy cried out in worry before jumping down through the hole and after the stallion. Her mane shot up and covered the slowly brightening sky. Ponies chattered worriedly as the alicorn laughed evilly. She transforms into a large cloud and flew away into the renewed night sky, being chased by Rainbow Dash. Darn! The Pegasus grunted when the cloud left her sight. She looked down and took notice of the purple unicorn she slammed into on accident, galloping back towards the library. Narrowing her eyes, Rainbow wondered, where's she off to? Naruto groaned as he pushed away some of the rubbles that had fallen on him. His right hoof went to his head and he rolled onto his other 3 legs. Luckily he has super regenerative power, heals all minor wounds he had in seconds. Naruto? Naruto. The orange stallion grunted as he turned to look at the white unicorn and the yellow Pegasus that was approaching him. Knowing that if he said anything, Fluttershy would overreact and blab to Nurse Red Heart. Naruto hate being stuck on a bed and in a freaking hospital. Oh my heavens, gasped the unicorn as Naruto pushed himself up and held back a wince. Naruto, are you alright? Me? Yeah, I'm fine, dismissed the stallion with a familiar grin. What happened after the light show? Nightmare Moon escaped, Mayor Mare said as she and 2 of the Pegasi guards entered, the guards carrying their 3rd teammate. His wings was busted and he couldn't fly anytime soon by the looks of it. The mayor trotted closer to the larger stallion. Naruto, where? What happened in there? That's a good question. Rarity muttered as her eyes slightly narrowed accusingly. Where in Equestria's right mind would you attack an all-powerful alicorn? You could get really hurt or worse. Naruto frowns, making them worry. Sorry, didn't mean to worry you guys. The stallion apologizes before he saw Fluttershy's eyes leaking tears seeing him hurt. Naruto walks up to her. Don't worry Shy, I'm okay, really I am. Please don't cry, I hate seeing you cry for my sake. You could get really hurt and I can't bear to watch you get hurt, said Fluttershy between sobbing. Naruto gives the yellow mare a hug to calm her down. Now you feel better? Fluttershy slightly nodded, wiping her tears. So where are the others? Asked Naruto. Big Macintosh is taking the CMC to your house since it is closer, quietly answered the Pegasus mare. Applejack, Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash went after Twilight Sparkle, who was running towards the library. I have a feeling that she knows more than she's letting on, Naruto mused to himself. Come on, let's find the others. Both mares nodded, following after him out of town square. So what are you, a spy? Huh? Is that what you are? Was the first thing Naruto heard as he, Rarity and Fluttershy entered the library. The stallion sighed. He bit down on Rainbow Dash's tail and pulled her away. Ow, what was that for, Naruto? Naruto. The blue Pegasus repeated with a beaming smile before hugging him tightly. A tint of pink appears on her face. You're okay. Oh man, that was awesome. How did you do that teleporting thing? And socked Nightmare Moon, that was a good one. You've got to teach me how to do that. Naruto chuckled and pushed the mare away. Maybe later, Rainbow. He barely repressed a very foolish scream when Pinkie Pie and Applejack slammed into him with a hug. Pinkie lets go first and was shortly followed by a slightly blushing Applejack, and the former burst into a relieved spiel. We were so worried. I mean, I knew you'd be fine because there was that time you accidentally ran into a wagon and demolished it, but you just stood up and trotted off like it was nothing. But a brick wall is harder than wood. And then there was that time you fell into that pit I dug in the back of your house when I was trying to find some gold. That was you. I knew Scootaloo was too short to get in and out of that hole. Oops. Oh well, anyway, there was also that time you got caught in the stampede and only got a busted lip. I think you're invincible, Naruto. Maybe you're an immortal or something. Well, so far that's what it looks like. I mean, you haven't been set on fire yet like in that play we saw last year, or been stabbed. Hey, have you ever played chicken with a bull yet? Pinkie chuckled out at the stallion as he put a hoof on her mouth. Later, okay? The pink mare blinked innocently before smiling under his hoof and nodded vigorously. Naruto sighed in relief before looking at a wide-eyed Twilight. His gaze hardened and he asked, what do you know about that mare? I read all about the prediction of Nightmare Moon. Some mysterious objects called the elements of harmony are the only things that can stop her, but I don't know what they are. Where to find them? I don't even know what they do. Twilight answered after a moment. Elements of harmony. A reference guide, Pinkie Pie said happily from where she stood near a bookcase. She was quickly shoved aside when Twilight appeared almost instantly in her former spot. How'd you find it so fast? She asked the pink mare, the other ponies in the room looking at their party-loving friend curiously as well. Pinkie bounced across the room with a giggle before she sang, it was under E. Everyone save Twilight chuckled at Pinkie's antics. Naruto's smile slowly falls, looks at the purple unicorn and asked, so what does it say? According to this, the elements of harmony are 6 stones that represents each element: kindness, laughter, generosity, honesty and loyalty. The 6th one isn't listed, and the book says the elements were left by Princess Celestia in the old castle that resides in. Twilight trailed off with a deep swallow. Curious, the others in the room approached and read over her shoulder and many faces paled. Except for Naruto, who still don't know what new danger that this world had to offer. The Everfree Forest, said the ponies. Isn't this the forest you found me? Asked Naruto. Yeah, this is the place, answered Rainbow Dash with hint of fear. Let's go, said Pinkie without a care in the world. Not so fast. Look, I appreciate the offer, but I'd really rather do this on my own, said Twilight. But Naruto won't allow it. Oh no, you don't. If any ponies going in there, it should be me. Naruto looks at all 6 mares with frowns. I don't want any of you to get hurt, so I am going. No. All 6 mares shouted at him. Naruto flinch a bit cause he knows the fury of women, or in this case mares. No can do, Sugar Cube. We sure ain't letting any friend of ours go into that creepy place alone. Naruto scowl. We're sticking to you like caramel on a candy apple, said Applejack. The rest of the ponies, HMPH, in agreement, but some were still shaking. I'm not gonna change your mind, am I? Naruto lets out sigh. You should just let me do it, Twilight said, stepping forward. Applejack shook her head. No, we do this together, said the farm mare before they enter the forest. Especially if there's candy apples in there, Pinkie said as the 4 other mares trotted ahead of her, Naruto and Twilight. Upon getting a weird look from the unicorn, the party-loving mare continued, what? Those things are good. Only you, Pinkie, chuckled out Naruto as he followed after the 5 mares. He looked back to the confused purple unicorn. Well, come on, Miss Canterlot Unicorn. We let those mares get ahead of us and they'll run into some sort of trouble. Twilight gave a nod and followed the rustic stallion into the woods. Naruto soon found his way to the front of the group, keeping an eye out for anything suspicious. "So, none of you been here before?" asked Twilight curiously. "We did come here before looking for my sister," answered Applejack. "She was almost attacked by 3 timber wolves," said Rarity. "But she was saved by Naruto, thanks goodness," Fluttershy looking at Naruto with a smile. "So, why is this forest so feared?" Twilight, having only heard tales of the infamous Everfree Woods, asked. "I mean, there isn't anything true to those old ponies' tales, right?" Naruto stayed quiet. He doesn't know why this place is scary, it's just like from where he is from anyway. Applejack answered, "This forest ain't natural. It doesn't work like the rest of Equestria. No pony knows. You know why?" Rainbow Dash asked some of the girls in a creepy voice. Rainbow quit it. "You know how easily Fluttershy gets scared," Naruto scolds her. "'Cause every pony who's ever come in, has never come out," said Rainbow Dash. Suddenly the cliff broke down, all 5 ponies sliding down. Rainbow and Fluttershy rushes towards them. Rainbow Dash grabs onto Pinkie, Fluttershy grabs onto Rarity by the tail, and Applejack grabs a root with her teeth. While Naruto and Twilight still sliding down until they reach the edge of the cliff. Applejack, seeing this, carefully made her way to the struggling Twilight first. Pushing her hooves down onto Twilight, she said, "Hang on, Twilight. What other choice do I have?" Twilight asks as she strains to hold on. "Applejack, what should I do?" Applejack pauses, glancing upwards before looking back at Twilight. "Let go." "Say what?" Twilight asked. Naruto grunted as his hooves slid slightly before calling out, "Hey," as the other pony dangling for his life. "Do what she says." "You're crazy, both of you," Twilight shouted angrily. "No we ain't," Applejack answered with a completely honest tone. "I swear to you, Twilight, you ain't gonna get hurt. Whatever you're gonna do," Naruto grits out as his hooves slowly slid, "do it now. Trust me," Applejack urges before glancing over at the other orange pony and back. Twilight looks at her fellow mare dead in the eye before taking a deep breath and nodding. Applejack nodded once before lifting her hooves and letting Twilight fall. The purple unicorn screams in fear as she fell before being caught by Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash. Applejack tried to carefully get to Naruto before he fell, but just as she got to him, his grip faltered and down he went. Looking over the edge, Applejack cried his name, "Naruto." The others looks up and watches as the orange stallion fell. Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy gasped before racing to him. Naruto looks down below him and his eyes widened. He looked back to the approaching Pegasi but looks like they won't make it. Naruto quickly cast a jutsu, thinking the jutsu. Naruto inhaled deeply and released a big bag of air from his mouth, wind release stream. As he released the jutsu, Naruto slowly approached to the ground. As Naruto landing safely to the ground, the mares let out a sigh of relief. Fluttershy rushes towards to the dark orange stallion, checking if he has any injuries. "Shy, I'm fine, no need to worry, okay?" Fluttershy looks at him. She nodded, but she was really worried about the orange stallion. As he's about to say something to the mares, Applejack looks at him with a curious look. "How did you do that, Naruto? You just blew a big bag of air out of nowhere." Naruto sighs and looks at the mares. "Look AJ, I know all of you got a lot of questions. But right now we need to stop Nightmare Moon. I promise I'll explain everything later. You know I never break a promise, right Pinkie?" Pinkie happily nodded that Naruto never breaks a promise, especially a Pinkie's promise. The other mares looks at each other and nodded. "Okay Naruto, after all this is over you have some explaining to do," said Applejack. Naruto scratches the back of his head and laughed nervously. "Let's keep moving," said Naruto. The mares nodded. While everyone else is getting themselves dusted off, Nightmare Moon suddenly lunges forth at a sleeping creature, causing it to roar in pain. A few minutes later, Rainbow Dash explains how she and Fluttershy recuse Rarity and Pinkie from falling to Twilight. And once Pinkie and Rarity were saved, whoosh! Me and Fluttershy loop-de-loop around and wham! Caught you right in the nick of time, said Rainbow Dash. While Rainbow Dash gloats about how she saved her friends from falling, Naruto is talking with the Bijus. "Naruto, you could save all of them from falling using your chakra arms, you know," said Gyuki. "Yeah, but if I do that, Twilight will never learn about honesty. The mare needs to learn how to rely on others," said Naruto inside his mindscape. Yes, Rainbow, I was there, and I'm grateful, but we gonna, said Twilight in annoyance. But suddenly they see a creature that have a lion for a face and body with bat wings and a scorpion's tail. A manticore. The manticore roars at them. We've gotta get past him, said Twilight. While Fluttershy got worries on her face. The manticore raises its paw and almost hit everyone. Rarity kicks the monster cat in the face. Take that, you ruffian, said Rarity. But the attack only made the creature more pissed and it barely clawed Rarity, but it only messed up her hair. My hair, said Rarity as she ducks away from another attack. Wait, said Fluttershy, but it was in vain. The manticore saw Naruto charge at the creature, giving him a punch on the jaw. The manticore got really pissed. He was about to hit Naruto with his paw. But he was stopped by Applejack. While Applejack rides the manticore, Naruto looks at Fluttershy, who tries to stop them for hurting the monster cat. Naruto's face hoofed. Of course, Fluttershy can understand animal, I almost forgot about it. Yee-haw, get along, little doggy, said Applejack as she rides the monster cat. Wait, said Fluttershy, but was cut off when Applejack was thrown off by the manticore. Whoa, all yours, partners, Applejack said as she signals Rainbow Dash. I'm on it, said Rainbow Dash, saluted as she charged right for the manticore. Wait, said Fluttershy, but still she couldn't stop Rainbow from attacking. The manticore used its tail and swatted her away, but without hitting him with the stinger. Rainbow, shouted Twilight. Rainbow quickly recovered. The others looks at the manticore and charged at the beast, but was stopped by Fluttershy. Wait, said Fluttershy. Every pony stops and looks at her. The manticore grunts at Fluttershy as she approaches it. The manticorn was ready to strike Fluttershy. Fluttershy, shouted Rainbow as she's ready to charge at the beast to save Fluttershy. She was stopped by Naruto. Naruto, what are you doing? Can't you see the manticorn is about to attack Fluttershy? Rainbow shouted angrily at Naruto. Naruto shook his head and let the mare look at the yellow Pegasi. Shush, it's okay, said Fluttershy as she rubs her nose at the manticorn's paw. The manticorn frowns and he let Fluttershy see his paw. He got a big thorn on his paw. Oh, you poor little baby, said Fluttershy. Little, said Rainbow Dash. Now this might hurt for just a second, Fluttershy said to the beast as she pulled out the thorn. The manticore then roared in pain. Fluttershy. Every pony shouted except for Naruto, he already knows the outcome. The mares were about ready to charge at the manticorn, but they could see the manticorn licking Fluttershy like it was some kind of a cat. Naruto chuckled seeing the manticorn licking Fluttershy. Ah, you're just a little old baby kitty, aren't you? Yes you are, yes you are, Fluttershy said as she was giggling while continually being licked by the manticore. The others smiles and walk past the manticorn. How did you know about the thorn? Asked Twilight. I didn't. Sometimes we all just need to be shown a little kindness, said Fluttershy. After hearing this, Twilight smiled. Good job, Fluttershy, I knew you can do it, said Naruto. Fluttershy uses her mane to hide a tint of pink on her face. So the dark orange stallion won't see it. Thank you, Naruto. Naruto nodded. Naruto picks up the thorn and destroys it. 'Cause he could sense negative emotion leaking from the thorn. As Naruto is ready to catch up to the mares, he feels something was watching him, but the presence disappeared. Naruto tries to sense the presence again, but presence is long gone. Seeing that the presence is gone, Naruto rushes to catch up to the mares. As Naruto leaves the area, a blue mist watches the blonde stallion from a distance. Seeing the stallion's power from the fall earlier, Nightmare Moon lick her lips. You're a very interesting pony, Naruto Uzumaki, said Nightmare Moon with a seductive tone. I look forward to our encounter later. Nightmare Moon disappears to get ready for her next trap. My eyes need a rest from all this icky muck, said Rarity. The way started to go dark as every pony entered an area filled with tall trees that blocked the moonlight. Well, I didn't mean literally, said Rarity. That ancient ruin could be right in front of our faces and we wouldn't even know it, said Twilight. Damn, I can't see anything, said Naruto. Suddenly, Nightmare Moon's mist form seeps into the trees. I didn't see you there, my apologies, said Rarity as she bumped into Naruto. Hey, watch it, said Rainbow as Pinky steps on her tail. Oh sorry, oh my sorry again. Fluttershy keeps on bumping to Twilight. Oh wait, I think I stepped on something, said Applejack. Suddenly, Fluttershy screams at the sight of something. It's just mud. Suddenly, Applejack screams when she sees a tree with a horrific face. Ah! All of the ponies then scream as all of the trees around them had similar faces. Especially Naruto, he still have fear of ghost. Naruto turns pale white as snow, but before he fainted. They hear a laughter echoing around the forest. They saw Pinkie Pie laughing at the scary face tree. Blah, ooh, said Pinkie Pie as she was making funny faces in front of a tree. Pinkie, what are you doing? Run, said Twilight. Oh, every pony, don't you see? Said Pinkie. Oh, Rakage music please, said Pinkie as she looks at me from the screen. Sure Pinkie, said me as I insert the music on the story while I'm doing this, confused face. WTF? Pinkie Pie. When I was a little filly and the sun was going down. Twilight Sparkle. Tell me she's not. Pinkie Pie. The darkness and the shadows, they would always make me frown. Both Rarity and Naruto, she is. Pinkie Pie. I'd hide under my pillow. From what I thought I saw. But Granny Pie said that wasn't the way to deal with fears at all. Rainbow Dash. Then what is? Pinkie Pie. She said, Pinkie, you gotta stand up tall. Learn to face your fears. You'll see that they can't hurt you. Just laugh to make them disappear. Ha, 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 ponies. Gasp, Pinkie Pie. So, giggle at the ghostly, Fluttershy giggled. Guffaw at the grossly, Rainbow laughed with a skip. Crack up at the creepy, Rarity raised her brow and laughed. Whoop it up with the weepy, Pinkie Pie smiled as she gave Applejack a lift as she is whooped by. Chortle at the kooky, Pinkie pushes Twilight and Naruto up to a face of a tree, and they laughed it away. Snortle at the spooky, every pony laughed together. And tell that big dumb scary face to take a hike and leave you alone, and if he thinks he can scare you then he's got another thing coming, and the very idea of such a thing just makes you wanna. Ha 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 ha, hey. La. Almost at once, all the scary faces vanished in pink puffs, revealing nothing more than barren trees, every pony even the bijus inside Naruto's mindscape falling onto their backs and lets out life-enriching laughter. Thanks, Pinkie, I can always count on you to make me laugh, said Naruto as he gave the mare a grin. Pinkie blushes, he said he can count on her to make him laugh. It wasn't long when they were all laughing and carrying on. Pinkie is hopping ahead when she suddenly stops at a riverbank. Every pony bumps into the pony ahead of him or her. Every pony looks past Pinkie as she said, how are we gonna get across this? The river before them was turbulent, and looks too treacherous to cross, and without any idea how deep it was just too risky. But at that moment, they heard a mournful sobbing, making them all, huh? They followed the sobbing upriver and peered through some bushes. They found the source of the river's turbulence in the form of a large purple sea serpent thumping his tail in the water. Why he was called a sea serpent? For one that lives in a river was anyone's guess. The serpent had a slicked back orange mane and mustache and appeared to be in distress. What a world, what a world. Excuse me, sir, why are you crying? Asked Twilight. Well, I don't know. I was just sitting here, minding my own business, when this tacky little cloud of purple smoke just whisked past me and tore half of my beloved mustache clean off, and now I look simply horrid. Said the sea serpent. They could see the missing half of the serpent's mustache, now a mere messy tuft on the serpent's nose. Seriously? Both Naruto and Bijus thought inside the mindscape. The serpent cried as he just fell over, unintentionally sending a wave to splash the 7 ponies, except Naruto, who steps aside leaving the others all soaked. Oh, gimme a break, Rainbow gruffed. That's what all fuss is about. Applejack asked with a tone one might use to say, are you serious? That's sad and all, but can you stop crying so we can move on because we don't have much time anyway? Said Naruto. Naruto, don't be rude, and why of course it is. Rarity spoke up, her nose pointing up. How can you be so insensitive? They all watches in bewilderment as Rarity approaches the serpent, resting his head on the bank. Why just look at him, such lovely luminous scales. Sniffing, the serpent said, I know. Is she serious? Shukaku muttered, earning him a shush from Naruto. Let her talk, he whispered inside his mindscape. Your expertly coiffed mane. Rarity complimented the serpent. Oh, I know. The serpent ran his hand through it. Your fabulous manicure. Gasping, the serpent said, it's so true. All ruined by your beautiful mustache, Rarity lamented. It's true. I'm hideous, the serpent wept. Naruto rolled his eyes. Okay, this is a little overdramatic. I simply cannot let such a crime against fabulosity go uncorrected. Rarity swore, and she quickly plucked one of the serpent's scales. Ow, what did you do that for? Rarity held the scale out, Twilight saying, Rarity, what are you? They all gasped as the scale slid through the air, the serpent moaning as he fainted, and they all saw Rarity had slid off her own tail. Her horn shined as her magic levitated her shorn tail to the serpent's nose, and with her magic, Rarity replaced the lost half of the mustache with her tail, much to the serpent's joy. Oh, hoo, my mustache, you look smashing. Rarity beamed. Oh, Rarity, your beautiful tail. Twilight worried. Oh, it's fine, my dear. Short tails are in this season. Besides, it'll grow back. Even if your tail is short, Rarity, you still look fine as always to me, said Naruto with a grin. Rarity looks away with the red cheeks on her face. Twilight smiled despite getting little jealous, but Rainbow muttered to her, so, the mustache issue is gone, right? Twilight gasps and she was starting to wade through the river, which no longer posed a threat. We can cross now, let's go, but she found herself lifted up by the serpent's tail. Allow me, and the serpent formed a bridge of his coils, allowing all the ponies lacking wings pass over. As the ponies carried on, left Naruto as he thanks the serpent, thanks Oh, how rude of me, I never gave them my name either. My name is Sebastian, and you are? Sebastian asked curiously. The stallion chuckled, Naruto Uzumaki, nice to meet you. Oh my, what a famous name. Sebastian gasped, you must be who write this book. Sebastian takes out a book behind some trees. The title of the book is, The Tale of the Utterly Gutsy Shinobi. Your book is a masterpiece, my dear sir. The drama, the thrill, the romance and the action, said Sebastian excitedly. Naruto scratches his head nervously. Well, Jez thinks I never got too many fans from that book. Sebastian gasped. What are you talking about? A lot of poins and especially Griffin, Diamond Dog and Dragon loves your book. Naruto's eyes went wide. He didn't know his book could reach outside Equestria. Well. Thanks, Naruto gives the serpent a smile. As Naruto was about to say his goodbyes, Sebastian stops him. Before you go, could you sign my books? Sebastian gives Naruto his book to sign. Naruto nodded. After Naruto signs the book, Naruto thought of something before Sebastian asked to sign his book. Wait, did he say books? Sebastian took another book somewhere behind the tree. Could you sign this book too? Sebastian tried to hide his tint of pink on his face. Sebastian gives Naruto the book. Naruto looks at the book. He is shocked at the title of the book. It is, Icha Icha Paradise in Equestria. Naruto looks at Sebastian. How do you know I am the author of this book? Well, your handwriting or what you ponies used to write, mouthwriting is the same as your other book. Sebastian hides his embarrassment. Oh, Naruto thought. Naruto said his goodbye to Sebastian. He catches up with the mares. Naruto, where had you been? Said Twilight. Oh, taking some business, said Naruto. Come on, the ruin that holds the elements of harmony is almost in our reach, said Twilight. Twilight, wait for us, said Applejack. We're almost there, said Twilight. Suddenly, she almost goes over a cliff. Whoa, suddenly, Naruto bit her tail to stop her from falling. What's with you and falling off cliffs today? Said Naruto. Now what? Asked Pinkie Pie as she sees the bridge loose on the other side. Duh, said Rainbow Dash as she shows her wings. Rainbow Dash then flies over to the other side to tie the bridge. Oh yeah. As Rainbow Dash ties up the bridge, she hears an eerie voice. Rainbow, said the eerie voice. Who's there? Asked Rainbow Dash as she got in defense mode. Rainbow, I ain't scared of you. Show yourself. We've been eagerly waiting for the arrival of the best flyer in Equestria. Who? Rainbow asked rather dumbly. Why, you of course. Really? I mean, oh yeah, me. Rainbow bragged. Hey, you wouldn't mind telling the Wonderbolts that, would ya? 'Cause I've been trying to get into that group for, like, ever. No, Rainbow Dash, we want you to join us. The source of the voice approaches and Rainbow sees 3 Pegasus ponies. The Shadow Bolts. They wore purple and black flight suits with lightning yellow borders. The one in the middle was a mare while her escorts were stallions. Each of them had bone white coats while their manes were an ominous blue, and their eyes everfree forest. And soon, we will be the greatest in all Equestria. But first, we need a captain. Instantly Rainbow got starry-eyed, having an idea where this was going as the female Shadowbolt carried on. The most magnificent? Yep, Rainbow agreed. Swiftest. Bravest flyer in all the land. Chuckling, Rainbow said, it's all true. We need, the Shadowbolt cried before whispering into Rainbow's ears, you. Woohoo, sign me up. Rainbow leapt before going over to the rope bridge. Just let me secure this thing, then we have a deal. No, the Shadowbolt yelled. It's them or us. Rainbow realized something was wrong here. Rainbow. It was Twilight, what's taking so long? Oh no. Twilight could see Rainbow alone before the Shadowbolts. Rainbow. The mare Shadowbolt glares at them, her goggles flashing yellow, causing the clouds to cover the others, muffling their voices. Oh no, Rainbow's in trouble. Twilight worried. We gotta get over there. Rarity insisted. Oh my, Fluttershy fretted. Don't worry about her. All eyes fell to Naruto, who looks into the fog with an unreadable look. Applejack stood next to him, asking, what in the hey do ya mean don't worry? Believe in Rainbow Dash, Naruto insisted. She'll make the right choice. For a few agonizing moments, every pony looks through the mist, so thick they couldn't even see that telltale rainbow mane they all knew and loved. Then, without warning, they saw the bridge on their side jerk, and the fog parted, Rainbow flying up to them, as they all cheered and made their way across. Good job, Rainbow, Twilight said proudly. See? I'd never leave my friends hanging. Rainbow smiled and flew ahead. Naruto smirked. He knew Rainbow would make the right choice. They entered the ruin seeing only some windows still persisted, and a few pillars still stood, most of them enwrapped with vines. In the center stood a great monument that held up 5 stone spheres, each carved with a different shape. Those must be it, said Naruto. Whoa, Applejack voiced out what everyone felt as they all entered. Come on, Twilight, Applejack invited, isn't this what you've been waiting for? The elements of harmony. Twilight awed as she gazes upon the spheres. We found them. Rainbow and Fluttershy both collected the stones, Twilight saying, careful, careful. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pinky counted. There's only 5. Where are the last one? Rainbow asked. The book said that when the 5 are present, one would be revealed through hope, the others by a spark. Twilight explained. Wha? In the hay is that supposed to mean? Applejack asked, thinking it sounded like hooey. I'm not sure but I have an idea. Twilight said as she kneels before the stone. Stand back, I don't know what will happen. Come on y'all, Applejack said, leading everyone outside. She needs to concentrate. Naruto steps beside Twilight. Remember what I told you, okay? Twilight looks at him and nodded. But as they left, the shimmering haze returned, and became a whirlwind, sucking in the elements, Twilight gasping. Twilight. Every pony outside gasped. The elements. Twilight shouted as she dove into the whirlwind after them. Naruto rushes towards to Twilight using his 3-bladed dagger to teleport to her. Both Twilight and Naruto got sucked into the whirlwind, which blinked away, much to every pony's shock. Where did they go? What happened? How do we find him? As every pony dashes around in a mad attempt to locate their friends, Applejack yelled, Twilight. Naruto, where are you? Look. They look and to see Rarity looking out a window, and in a nearby tower, lights flashed from its windows. Come on, y'all, Twilight coughed, as the haze cleared and she gasped. Ahead of her, on a pedestal, stood Nightmare Moon, the elements levitating around her, caught in her haze of a mane and tail, laughing wickedly as lightning flashed around her. The elements, Twilight shouted. She looks around, she knows Naruto followed her. But he's nowhere to be seen. You, what have done to Naruto? Twilight shouted angrily. Nightmare Moon just laugh. Oh, where indeed? The dark mare smirked evilly. Naruto groans rubbing his head. Well, that was a ride. Naruto looks around but he saw Twilight coughed in with Nightmare Moon. Twilight, you alright? Naruto yelled but got no response. Hey, Twilight, can you hear me? As Naruto tries to touch the mare he just passed through her. What the hey? Before he could say something else he hears an evil laugh. He saw Nightmare Moon on a pedestal with another Nightmare Moon. What another Nightmare Moon? Naruto thought. Well, it's good to see thee again, Uzumaki, said Nightmare Moon with a seductive tone. What's going on? Why there are 2 of you? Shouted Naruto. Oh, my apologies. Let me welcome thee to thy shadow realm. This is a little pocket dimension that I created just for us, said Nightmare Moon with a hidden lust. You see, in this pocket dimension no pony can hear us or see us, but we can see and hear them. This dimension is nothing but an illusion, a clone. That Nightmare Moon outside? That is not thyself, the real me is right here. Nightmare Moon explained. So why? You want a little old me to be alone with you? Naruto growls at the dark alicorn. The dark mare smirked, looking at him with lust in her eyes. Well, you see Uzumaki, it's simple really. Nightmare Moon walks towards him and puts her tail around him. Thou needs a strong knight if thou wants to rule over Equestria, and thee Uzumaki Naruto fits the bill. Thou art strong, thou art indeed powerful, even stronger than thy sister. With thou by my side we could rule Equestria forever. Thou can give thou anything to whatever thou desires. Thou can give thou wealth. The dark mare uses her magic to fill the room with gold, diamonds and gems. Or thou can give thou powers, she cast an illusion, seeing both Naruto and her rule over Equestria. Or thou can give thee the mare of thou dream, as she whispers in his ear. She cast another illusion. Naruto found himself on a blue heart-shaped bed. He looks up, seeing Nightmare Moon floating above him without her armor. Instead she's wearing a white lingerie. Naruto tries to move, but he is bound by chains on each limb. Nightmare landed on top of him. She looks at him with uncontrollable lust. She purrs as she rubs her snout against Naruto's neck. Naruto can't move in any mean. Nightmare nipping on Naruto's left ear. Suddenly she feels something under her belly and growing. She smirked. Kurama, guys, get me out of here. Naruto shouted at the bijus inside his seal. We're trying, Naruto, but the mare's spell is hard to crack. Just stay calm, Naruto. Kurama tries to calm down Naruto. You know, you could just let her rape you, said Shusaku. This is not the time. Hang on, Naruto-kun, said Matabi. It seems the little one wants to come out and play. Naruto's eyes went wide. Nightmare Moon notices his expression. She giggles. Oh, do not worry, we'll not go that far yet. Naruto have horror written on his face. Nightmare Moon looks directly at his eyes with those ocean blue eyes. She could mesmerize any mare. She locks her lip onto Naruto's lip with full force, tries to open his teeth with her tongue. Naruto's eyes pops open, trying to close his teeth tighter. His and Nightmare's lips part ways. She chuckled seductively, a feisty one. I like that in a stallion, as she tries to kiss Naruto again. The bijus dispels the illusion and breaks free Naruto from his shackle. Nightmare Moon looks shocked but got angry. Thou dare reject me? If thou can't have thou pony to thyself, then no pony shan't have him. Nightmare summoned lightning to strike Naruto. Naruto dodge each lightning that strikes at him. You're not the only one who can summon lightning. Naruto lift both of his hoofs and yell. Raiden. Jabashi, lightning release, electromagnetic murder. Naruto summoned lightning from his hoofs, strikes at the dark mare, but she flew into the air, so the attack miss. As Nightmare Moon scans the room, Naruto disappeared but reappears behind her with a yellow flash of light and sucker punches her. Nightmare Moon went straight to the ground with a dust cloud covering over her. Naruto waits for the dust cloud to clear. After the dust cloud cleared this time, Nightmare Moon disappeared. She turned into a blue mist and reappears beside Naruto, who she gives him a kick to the face. Nightmare Moon smirked and sent the blonde tumbling backwards with her wing dismissively. Naruto groaned and pushes himself to his hooves. Naruto puts his hooves together. Suddenly a puff of cloud covers the room. After the cloud cleared, instead there were one Naruto. Now there are 5 Narutos. The 4 clones charge at the dark mare and kicks her into the air. Then, while she is floating in midair, the real Naruto delivers the final body assaults to the alicorn with a rotating heel drop while yelling, Na. Ru. 2. Uzumaki Renden. The alicorn flies straight to the ground that created a large crater. Nightmare Moon emerged from the crater with a promised pain in her eyes. How dare thou do that me, thou shalt pay. The alicorn charges at Naruto. Naruto and his clones also charges at the dark mare. Delivering punches and kicks, Nightmare Moon created a shockwave, sending all the Narutos flying to the wall. All Naruto's clones dispels. Naruto groaned, rubbing his head. Then he stood up and he inhales a huge bag of air, and then he exhales a giant fireball at the alicorn. Kaden. Gokaku no Jutsu, fire release, great fireball technique. The fireball connects onto the dark alicorn, creating a huge explosions. After the smoke is clear, seeing the alicorn is unharmed, she created a barrier to protect herself from the fireball. Nightmare unleashes bolts of magic at Naruto. Naruto keeps dodge the incoming attack, trying to get close to her. Naruto throws his kunai with his tail in the right moment. Seeing the opening, he throws a kunai above the dark mare. Before he teleported above the dark alicorn, he impales his hoof into the ground to perform the jutsu. Nightmare Moon stopped firing as she sees that Naruto suddenly disappeared. Naruto reappears above her with a huge stone hand. Doden. Sutonfasuto, Earth Release, Stone Fist. Naruto punches down towards the mare, who got her eyes widen. The punch created a shockwave and another crater. After Naruto lifted his stone hand, he looks at the mare, who is laying down on the crater. But she turns into a blue mist and surrounds Naruto. Then it turns into Nightmare Moon and punch him to his jaw, sending him upward. Then she summoned lightning to strike Naruto while he's still floating in midair. The lightning hit Naruto, but instead Naruto was hit. It was a log who got hit from the dark mare's lightning. A log, the dark alicorn shouted angrily. Yes, all praise the log, said Naruto while praying to the log god. Naruto appears across the room, looks at the mare with a frown. Why are you doing this? Asked with a sad expression. Why, I shall tell thee why. Nightmare Moon shouted angrily. Because thy sister got all the love, while thy got nothing. The dark mare shed a few tears. The ponies only sleep at thy night, no pony loves thy night. That's not true, ponies love your night. You are the night light to the ponies who is scared in the dark. Your night gives a beautiful starling sky, you just don't know it, said Naruto with a sad smile. Also me, I also love your night. You, love my night? Asked the dark alicorn. Naruto nodded. No, you are a liar. Nightmare Moon yelled at him. You do not love my night. If ponies will not love my night, I shall make them love my night. So I could be acknowledged. She charges using her long horn, aiming to impale the stallion. Naruto just dodged easily and gives another right hoof straight punch to Nightmare Moon. This sends the dark mare pinned against the wall. So you want to put the world into eternal darkness just to be acknowledged? Naruto said seriously. Then you really are not worthy to be princess, you idiot. How dare thou say that to thee? Nightmare Moon's horn glows, unleashing a powerful beam at Naruto, sending him to the wall. That created a huge hole at the wall. Nightmare Moon was about to finish the job. Suddenly Naruto emerges from the hole with a huge amount of power. When he came out from the hole, she was surprised seeing the orange stallion's eyes changed from sky blue eyes to yellow toad-like iris with an orange pigmentations around his eyes. Naruto has entered Sage Mode. He entered Sage Mode instantly because his chakra control is rival with the Shodai Hokage. He can enter Sage Mode almost instantly. The real battle begins. Naruto turns into his frog Kata stance in pony style and disappears from Nightmare Moon's sight. She tries to look for him, but she felt an incredible force against her face, sending her flying through 3 walls. She emerges from the destruction with anger in her eyes. She summons the shadow creatures to attack the blonde stallion. Naruto summons his chakra arms to perform a jutsu with a series of hand seals inhaled and unleashes a wave of water at the approaching shadow creature. Sweden. Mizurapa, water release, wild water wave. The creatures got all washed away. Nightmare Moon appears right front of the blonde stallion. Her horn glows and she fires a bolt of magic in point-blank range. No time to dodge the attack. Naruto quickly cast a jutsu. Nightmare Moon fires her magic at Naruto, seeing there's no escape. A huge white explosion covers the area. The dark alicorn dusted off her coat from the explosion. She checks it, the stallion is still alive. But she hears a crackling like electricity. Naruto emerges from the smoke. The dark alicorn was shocked seeing the stallion is alive from a point-blank attack. How are thou still alive? I activated my lightning release armor. It's known as my ultimate shield. Lucky for me, I activated it just in the nick of time. Naruto grins. Not only it increases my defense, it also increases my speed. Naruto disappeared in a flash of lightning. Nightmare Moon activated her shield, keeping her safe from the all-powerful sage. Naruto reappears across the room. He summons his chakra arms. He turns his chakra arms into like a lance or a spear. Naruto charge at the dark mare with full force behind it. Nightmare Moon, seeing the blonde pony, charges at her with a demon-like speed. She increases her shield to its maximum capacity. Naruto hits the barrier. Nightmare Moon tries to maintain the shield, but it was starting to crack. Naruto pushes harder, then the shield shatters. Using his ultimate spear, Hell Stab, it could destroy any shield. The dark alicorn got knocked away from the sheer force of the attack. She groans and tries to stand up, Naruto, who stood beside her. Do you really think that ponies will acknowledge you after you putting the world into eternal darkness? The princess values peace and safety of her ponies or any races. The ponies will only think of you as a tyrant who will execute anything even if it costs nothing but suffering. Is it really the way you want to be acknowledged by your ponies? Naruto shouted towards the near unconscious Nightmare Moon, who's lying in the middle of the crater from his other attack earlier. All that thy ever wanted is to be acknowledged as who thyself, not just as a shadow of thy sister. Nightmare Moon said while breathing heavily due to the damage of Naruto's attacks. Then all you need to do is look for another path where you can be acknowledged as who you are, not by overthrowing your sister. Naruto replied, because you cannot acquire love if you continuously yearn for hatred. Remove the darkness within your heart and start moving forward. Nightmare Moon looks at him one last time and smiles at him before losing consciousness. The pocket dimension shatters into pieces. Naruto looks at the side of the room. He saw Twilight's horror, the elements shattered. You little fool, thinking you could defeat me? Now you will never again see your princess or your son. The night will last forever. No, Twilight whispered. Oh, don't feel bad, Nightmare's clone mocked. You won't be around to enjoy it. Without warning, Nightmare's clone shot a bolt of energy at Twilight, who was too downtrodden to notice. Twilight looked and saw an orange figure leap in front of her. The figure stomped his hoofs to the ground and created a rock-like shield, shielding her from the attack. Naruto. Hey, Twilight. Before he looks at the dark alicorn, he was hugged by the lavender mare crying on his coat. I thought something happened to you. I am so glad you are alright. Naruto smiles at the lavender mare, using his hoof running down on the mare mane. Shush, it's alright, I'm here. Come on, let us end this. Twilight nodded but turns into sadness. Naruto, I failed, Twilight whimpered. The elements are destroyed. It's over. She felt a hoof wipe her tears away, and saw Naruto smiling. Remember what I said at your bedroom. Twilight looks at him and starts to remember the word he told her. Bonds can give you what you really need. They both look at Nightmare's clone, who looks shocked. How are you here? If you're here, the original is defeated. She scans the area. She saw the original laying on the floor unconscious. She teleported into the original and merged together. In a flash of light, she teleported again on the pedestal. But before Nightmare Moon could charge another energy bolt, Twilight hears familiar voices, and looks behind them to see a doorway. Twilight. Naruto, don't worry. We'll be there. We're coming. Don't give up. And it was then Twilight experienced a revelation. You think you can destroy the elements of harmony just like that? Twilight faces Nightmare Moon. Well, you're wrong. She heard them all galloping to her side and declared, because the spirits of the elements of harmony are right here. The shards of the elements all glowed and shivered around Nightmare's hooves and rose up. What? Applejack, Twilight spoke, who reassured me when I was in doubt, represents the spirit of honesty. Applejack found herself surrounded by some of the shard. Fluttershy, who tamed the manticore with her compassion, represents the spirit of kindness. Fluttershy hesitated but found reassurance in the shards around her. Pinkie Pie, who banished fears by giggling at the face of danger, represents the spirit of laughter. Pinkie got giddy as shards surrounded her. Rarity, who calmed a sorrowful serpent with a meaningful gift, represents the spirit of generosity. Rainbow Dash, who could not abandon her friends for her own heart's desire, represents the spirit of loyalty. As Rarity and Rabe now were surrounded by some shards, Twilight looks down at Naruto, who's smiling at her, and she finally understood. You still lack the last element. Nightmare insisted, but looking troubled. The spark didn't work, but it did, a different kind of spark. Twilight corrected as she faced the others, smiling at them all as they smiled at her. I felt it, the very moment I realized how happy I was to hear you, to see you, how much I cared about you. The spark ignited inside me. When I realized that you all are my friends, and created bonds that could last forever. A light shined above, and the sixth element appeared, floating down towards twilight. You see, Nightmare Moon, when those elements are ignited by the spark that resides in the heart of us all, it summons the final element. The element of magic. The mare shines with power, the shards transforming into necklaces while the seventh element became a crown upon Twilight's head. Her eyes flashed a bright white, encasing the room in blinding light. The light hit Naruto and he starts to glow. As he feels the power, Naruto lifts his right hoof and gather the chakra for the last attack. This is it, Nightmare Moon. This is the end. Sage Art. Harmonic Rasengan. The light from the elements of harmony is somehow absorbed by the Rasengan. The Rasengan glows brighter than it ever did before, turning iridescent, as trails of rainbow-colored light swirls around it and behind Naruto. Nightmare Moon gave a final cry of dismay before vanishing in the sudden explosion of white. And like a bad dream she vanished as Twilight and Naruto opened their eyes, releasing a pure white light. Oh, Rainbow groaned as she got up. Looking around, she noticed that the others are all lying on the floor, stirring as well. My head. Every pony okay? Applejack asked. Oh my goodness. Why Rarity, it's so lovely, Fluttershy said, as Rarity posed. I know. Rarity waved her tail, which had somehow been restored to its full length and same beautiful style. I'll never part with it again. No, your necklace, Fluttershy pointed out. The jewel looks just like your cutie mark. Rarity saw for herself the jewel was indeed shaped like one of the jewels of her cutie mark, colored the same purple as her mane. So does yours. Fluttershy's jewel was a pink butterfly, much to her thrill. Look at mine, look at mine. Pinky bounces, her jewel a blue balloon. Applejack's jewel is an orange apple with a green leaf. Ah yeah, Rainbow was feeling pretty good, her jewel's a red lightning bolt. Gee, Twilight, I thought you were just spouting a lot of hooey, but I reckon we really do represent the elements of friendship, said Applejack. A light appeared as it radiated a heavenly voice, indeed you do. Every pony looks out through a window. They saw the sun rise in the horizon, as a light came down, into the ruin with them, dimming to reveal Princess Celestia. It was the princess of the sun, tall and regal, her coat white-tinted pink, her mane flowing with resplendent colors of pink, pale green, turquoise, her wings spread, her horn like a lance of pearl. She wore a crown, hoof boots, and a mantle, and her cutie mark was a shining sun. Every pony bowed except for Naruto, who never bowed to anyone or any pony, while Twilight approaches her teacher, who greeted, Twilight Sparkle, my faithful student. Teacher and student shared a loving nuzzle, and Princess Celestia stood up with a smile. I knew you could do it. But you told me it was all an old pony's tale, Twilight protested. I told you that you needed to make some friends, Celestia gently reminded her, nothing more. I saw the signs of Nightmare Moon's return, and I knew it was you who had the magic inside to defeat her. But you could not unleash it until you let true friendship into your heart. Twilight and the others all smiled. Now if only another would as well, Celestia spoke, stepping past Twilight. Princess Luna. Every pony looked and were shocked to see that in Nightmare Moon's place was a little alicorn, surrounded by the remnants of Nightmare Moon's armor. She had a deep blue coat and gentle blue mane and tail, wore a little black crown, and had the same cutie mark. She looks nothing like Nightmare Moon, as she cringed in fear at the approach of the Princess of the Sun. It has been 1,000 years since I've seen you like this. Luna looks away in shame, Celestia kneeling down to her. Time to put our differences behind us. We were meant to rule together, little sister. Sister? Every pony gasped. Celestia stood up, pleadingly asking, won't you accept my friendship? Every pony leaned in, hopefully, Pinky leaning a little too much given she fell on her face. And Luna got up, crying as she nuzzled Celestia, I'm so sorry. I missed you so much, big sister. Celestia shed tears of joy, replying, I missed you too. Pinky lets out tears and sobbed, crying as she felt happy for the royal sisters reunited. But suddenly she stopped, somehow the waterworks vanishing, as she said, hey. You know what this calls for? What, a party? Naruto answered. A party? Said Pinkie Pie as the ponies started to cheer over Princess Celestia's return. Everyone welcomed the heroes. Why so glum, my faithful student? Are you not happy that your quest is complete and you can return to your studies in Canterlot? Asked Princess Celestia. That's just it. Just when I learned how wonderful it is to have friends, I had to leave them," said Twilight. "Spike, take a note, please." Spike then got his paper and pen. "I, Princess Celestia, hereby decree that the unicorn Twilight Sparkle shall take on a new mission for Equestria. She must continue to study the magic of friendship. She must report to me her findings from her new home in Ponyville." The ponies in Ponyville then cheers. "Oh, thank you, Princess Celestia. I'll study harder than ever before," said Twilight. The villagers then cheered while Naruto watches from the sideline with smiles on his face. But remembers he has to explain everything to them.
That's all for now. If you enjoy this video, then please like, share and do comments.